A Journey to the Holy Dham. Nityananda Das. 1 Dedication. I would like to dedicate this book to His Divine Grace Srila C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, who brought the true light of the holy Dhams of India to the rest of the world and spread the holy names in every nook and corner of the world as predicted by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and to my dearest spiritual master His Holiness Srila Krishna Das Goswami Maharaja, who encouraged me to read ISKCON books, from where I got the inspiration to write, as I was deeply immersed in the darkness of ignorance. His Divine Grace Srila C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, His Holiness Srila Krishna Das Goswami Maharaja. 2 Introduction. India is a land of God and demigods, religious believers and spirituality since the prehistoric days. Santana Dharma or Hava Dharma, being the oldest religion of the world, germinated on this land, and the followers worship numerous forms of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the demigods. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead Lord Sri Krishna descends to earth for performing his transcendental pastimes, he brings with him his own eternal abode known as Goloka Vrindavan, along with his most intimate associates, friends, servants, and various other transcendental paraphernalia. The Lord's transcendental abode, which is also known as the Dham, is non-different from the Lord's eternal abode in the spiritual world. In fact, it is an exact replica. By mundane material vision, the Dham may appear like any other place on earth, but to the pure devotees and perfect yogas, the Dham is a completely spiritual abode saturated with its own transcendentally surcharged atmosphere. It is not only that God and demigods are predominant in this land, but even the human beings who have attained spirituality to a level. The call of spirituality has attracted many saints, scholars, philosophers, students, and other various types of seekers to this glorious land. I first visited India in 2007 together with several other devotees from Fiji Islands. Though I was immature in Krishna consciousness at that time, since I had only joined a year and a half before and did not have much knowledge, yet I got the golden opportunity to visit this glorious land by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. By Krishna's grace, I got the opportunity again to visit India in 2016 and have been continuously visiting till 2019, as I sincerely prayed to their lordships at Sridhamapur and Vrindavan for their mercy in order to be able to visit again and to have their darshan. 3. Due to COVID-19, I could not visit India in 2020, and as a result I was feeling very dejected and pained from the feelings of separation from the holy Dham and their lordships. Feelings of separation are more painful than death itself, as was experienced by the gopis when their beloved Lord Sri Krishna disappeared from their sight in the midst of the rasa dance. They experienced the similar pains when Lord Krishna left Vrindavan and went to Mathura with Akrura. Though I am in no comparison to even the dust of the servants of the servants of the servants of the gopis, yet my mind had been perturbed due to the failure of not being able to visit India in 2020. Boredom had become a part of life and all the enthusiasm was gone, and so I engaged myself in readings of more spiritual books as per directions received from my dearest spiritual master His Holiness Srila Krishna Das Goswami Maharaja. I downloaded all the books from ISKCON Desire Tree available under the title Lives of the Ikriyas in order to regain my enthusiasm, as I had always loved and enjoyed reading biographies of our spiritual preceptors, as they give me inner peace and enlightenment. The Ikriyas have experienced so much love for Krishna and showed us the real meaning of life by their practical examples, and have demonstrated how to live in separation from Krishna, the Vaishnavas, and the holy Dham through their pastimes, which are not to be imitated. After reading several books, to name a few like Array of Vishnu, Abhrama Goswami, Babaji Maharaja, Bhakti Ratnakara, Gaudiya Vaishnava Nectar, and Vamsidasa Babaji, I started reading Narottama Vilasa. When I came to the 6th Vilasa, reading about the tours of Sri Iswari, who is none other than Janava Mata, the eternal consort of Lord Nityananda, I got inspiration from within to write about my experiences during the tours I had with a group of devotees who traveled with me in December of 2019 to the Holy Dham. For though there are many books available on the topics of the holy Dham by stalwart devotees, I am writing this book for my own personal purification out of love for the holy Dham, feelings of separation, and at the same time trying to make an attempt to attract the readers to at least make an effort to visit India for once in their lifetime to taste the nectar of Krishna consciousness, which many devotees from all over the world have tasted, which includes this insignificant soul, our founder of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, His Divine Grace Srila C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada instructed all his disciples to visit India, namely Sridham Upar and Sridham Vrindavan, at least once a year to revive their Krishna consciousness so that when they go back to their respective countries, they could execute the preaching programs and other services more valiantly. My heartfelt gratitude to my dear friend Jyadeva Goswami Das for assisting me with the proofreading, editing and providing with all the beautiful pictures that he took, which you will see in the pages of this book from our journey to the holy Dham. Following in the line of our preceptors, praying at the lotus feet of Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga to guide me and bless me with this humble attempt for the pleasure of the devotees and their lordships Sri Sri Radha Madhava, Sri Pankatattva, Sri Krishna Balarama, Sri Sri Radha Shyama Sundara and Lord Sri Jagannath, Baladeva and Subhadra Devi. Thanking you in anticipation. Nityananda Das ISKCON, Fiji Islands Phone 679 9,465,278 Email Nityananda Das 1,941,978 Gmail com 5 in front of Govardhan, my eternal home 61. Preparation for the journey. During a conversation with my friend Jyadeva Goswami Das in March of 2019, he expressed his desire to visit India, but since it was going to be his first time, he did not know what to do and wanted to travel with someone who already had some experience. So I told him, why not join me in my upcoming trip that December, as I have been traveling for the last 3 years continuously during my 2 weeks work holidays for my medical and had gained a little experience and made good contacts in various places with devotees, temples, taxi companies, tour guides etc., and knew the processes involved. To this he agreed and became very enthusiastic. He asked me so many questions about the costs involved, visa requirements, travel itinerary, food, shopping, prices, etc. Looking at his enthusiasm, I thought maybe I should take a tour group of at least 8-10 people, which would be easy to handle to start off with, and then make it an annual event as a service to the devotees wanting to visit India. We had a great experience when we traveled in 2007 under the supervision of Ramanuja Das from Australia and together with our Guru Maharaja for 6 weeks, and everything was like still fresh in the mind. I advertised on my Facebook page and on Sri Sri Radha Golika Bihari Temple Satsang Viber group as well. Several enquiries came and in no time 4 more devotees agreed to travel with us, and my wife and son also agreed to come since they last went was in 2016. Now we were a group of 8 enthusiastic people as follows, ready for a journey to the holy Dham, which included me as well. I, Nityananda Dasi, Nartaki Devi Dasi, my wife, i.e. Raghunath Gopal Das, my 8-year-old son, Iv, Jyadeva Goswami Das V, Jagadishwara Das V, Krishneel Kishan Ram, Jagadishwara's son, V, Maharani Devi Dasi V. Divya Devi Dasi. With the numbers fixed and dates confirmed, I started liaising with the travel agents for estimate international fares, checked online for domestic fares within India, started writing to ISKCON temples for daily accommodation, meals costs, taxi rates and availability during our time of travels, made arrangements with tour guide in Vrindavan whom I had been hiring during my trips to arrange a Vrahmandal Parikrama. He offered me a package deal which included transportation and 3-course meals at an affordable price. Made arrangements with ISKCON Upar Tourism for transportation to and from airport, Navadwip Parikrama and Ekachakra visit. Also liaised with ISKCON Bhubaneswar Temple for transportation, accommodation and Jagannath Puri Parikrama. Last day we kept free for shopping in Delhi and darshan at ISKCON Delhi Temple. After everything was finalized, worked out the costs per person and informed the devotees so they could start planning their budgets and intervals in which they had to make payments, as they requested me to organize everything. They were to pay me and I would pay on the other side for everyone, which included travel, accommodation and meals. It was a great task and I loved every moment of it, as costing, planning and organizing has always been my skills. Came September, applied for everyone's visas to India. Managed to get 5 years multiple visa for everyone. We purchased our airline tickets for both international and domestic flights. Finalized bookings with MVT in Vrindavan and ISKCON Bhubaneswar Temple for our accommodation, taxi and tour guides as 9 per our itinerary. For ISKCON Upar, we finalized the bookings in October as per their requirements for our stay at the Ashodhyan Bhavan, which is my favorite due to its beautiful views, gardens and modern facilities. Made a list of items each one had to carry with them, which included warm clothing, personal medication, dried cooked food to take on flight, and other essentials, as it happens to be really cold during December in India and chances of people getting sick during parikrama. Educated them on how we need to be careful of thugs, pickpockets, and monkeys. Even though India is rich in its spirituality, there are some bad elements as well, like any other place in the world. We called our group Gopal's India Tours under my son's name. Designed and arranged a souvenir badge for each person, as you can see in the picture below. 10 also delegated some of the responsibilities to others as follows. Person responsible role to play Nityananda Das tour leader Nartaki Devi Dasi Pujari for Ladu Gopal Jyadeva Goswami Das photographer Maharani Devi Dasi photographer Divya Devi Dasi photographer Krishneel Kishan Ram first aider. We were now all set to travel for a great experience awaiting ahead. 11-12-2. Traveling from Fiji to India, the time had finally come that we were all desperately waiting for. Except for Jagadishwar Das, every one of us were on the same flight as he got delayed in getting his passport renewed, so was coming the day after. We met at the Nadi International Airport at 6:00 am on the 21st of December 2019 for our flight to Hong Kong as per flight number FJ391 at 9:20 am. All of us checked in and our luggage went through while we waited for the calling for customs clearance and heading towards the gates. However, we encountered some difficulties at the airport, which is a norm at times. I was carrying the first aid kit in my bag, and after my luggage had been checked in, I was told no liquid is to be carried in the hand baggage, so had to get rid of the iodine and scissors in the kit. I took out the iodine and scissors and gave to Jagadishwar to take back home, who came to drop off his son Krishneel, who was traveling in our flight. Next we went through customs and my son was told he cannot take his toy gun on the flight in his hand carry bag. After several minutes of arguments, we just gave in and called Jagadishwar on his mobile to come and take the toy gun with him instead of giving it to the customs officer. Then Krishneel was stopped from taking paneer curry for his lunch on the flight due to liquid in it. My wife stepped in and asked the customs officer, what if we mix it with the rice? Would we still be allowed to take it, as Krishneel will not have anything to eat since we only ordered fruit platter on the flight due to being Hare Krishnas? To this the customs officer agreed and Krishneel mixed the paneer curry with the rice. After all the declarations was over, we sat in the waiting area for our boarding call. There were so many people traveling to Hong Kong and other places, so we 13 just hung around in a corner and stayed together, relaxing and chilling out. Everyone made quick calls to their relatives and friends to bid goodbye, charged their phones in the power point available, had a little snacks and refreshed themselves. Maharani was very cheerful, as you can see in the photo in the next page, as a long-awaited dream was coming true. Nartaki relaxing myself and Gopal 14 Jyadeva. Snack time. Gopal from left to right. Maharani, the cheerful one. Divya Krishneel, discussing science. 15 Divya and Krishneel became a team, as Divya is a high school year 13 biochem science teacher and Krishneel a medical student doing MBBS. So they always had their corner. We were finally called in for boarding. Once all the passengers had settled in, the flight attendants did the final checks, the usual safety presentations, and after the final announcements were made by the pilot, the flight took off and we were up in the sky in no time, flying smoothly. It was going to be a long flight, so everyone engaged themselves in various activities. Some passengers were reading, some watched movies, devotees were chanting. Gopal watched cartoons, which is his favorite part when on the flight, relaxing on his seat, while others took to a power nap before breakfast was being served, as everyone were up so early in order to make to the airport on time. Gopal relaxing and watching cartoon 16 after breakfast was served. Everyone just continued doing whatever they were, and finally we arrived in Hong Kong at 2:50 p.m. HK time. Everyone departed the aircraft for their respective exits. Some were returning home, some staying in Hong Kong for holidays, while others continuing with the journey to other places. Our next flight was at 9:05 p.m. from Hong Kong to Kolkata. We went through customs and I took everyone to my favorite spot, which was close to the restrooms and other facilities for phone charging, flight detail screens and mountain views outside, etc. Since it was a long waiting time before our connecting flight to Kolkata, we just relaxed after the tiring flight, had our lunch, did window shopping, completed our chanting, took a nap, refreshed ourselves and just hung around. People were just rushing from here to there trying to catch their flights, looking for their gates, children playing, shopping, etc. At Hong Kong Airport 3 hours before our flight, we came to know of our gate, so we got ready and headed towards it. Went down the escalator, then by train and bus, and finally got to our gate. Waited there before our boarding call was made. We headed towards the aircraft and the flight took off for Kolkata. By this time, we were really exhausted, so everyone went to sleep after dinner. We arrived in Kolkata Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose International Airport at 11:15 p.m. Indian time. It was a great relief and everyone was in ecstasy as we finally stepped the holy land of India. We went through customs, got our luggage and came out of the airport. We were welcomed by the cool breeze of Kolkata. Our driver was waiting outside with a plaque of my name. We greeted each other with a Hare Krishna and he went off to get the transport. I had arranged for a 11-seater traveler's bus so everyone could fit in comfortably and put their luggage properly as well. Outside Kolkata Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose International Airport 18 Outside Kolkata Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose International Airport after loading our things, and by the time we left Kolkata for Sridhamapur, it was past midnight. It was a long bumpy ride due to too many potholes since the roads were under construction. Also during the cold it gets very foggy and difficult to drive at night. There were also traffic jams in some places. However, some of us really enjoyed the ride while others just dozed off to sleep. At night we mostly got to see a lot of trucks with goods loaded and being taken to various cities. The trucks are so beautifully decorated with paintings and varieties of lights all over and other decorations. It basically helps being seen from a distance, especially at night, to avoid accidents. They also got sign writing of different things done on the trucks as well, like Bharat Mata Ki Jai, All India Permit, Horn Please, etc. I really love their horn sound. 19 Indian truck. We arrived in Sridhamapur at around 5:00 am in the morning on the 22nd December 2019 and the day was Ekadasi. We went straight to Ashodhyan Bhavan where we were meant to be staying. The night shift devotees and securities were all wearing winter clothes, sweaters with 2-3 beanies as it was freezing cold in the morning hours. We offloaded our things and stacked at the waiting area. Unfortunately, our rooms were not going to be ready till 9:00 am in the morning as that was the usual check-in time. We were all chilling in the cold and so my wife requested the reception to at least give us one room even if not yet ready so we could put our things and get refreshed. They checked with the devotees in charge at Gada Bhavan and allowed us to put our things in one of the rooms. One after another we took our shower and got ready. My wife took our little deity Ladu Gopal Bal Mukunda out of the bag as well, whom we take everywhere we go, and did some offering of whatever we had available. Continued on page 22. 20 Bal Mukunda in Mupur Ashodhyan Bhavan, our residence in Mupur 21-3. Sridhamapur, previously known as Miapur, is a neighborhood of Bhamanpukar area, situated adjacent to Navadwip, at the confluence of the two rivers, where the waters of the river Jalangi mix with Ganga and is one of the main of the 9 islands of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's land Navadwip. It is located 130 km north of Kolkata within Nadia district, West Bengal, and well connected by roads and rail network. The holiest of all places in entire India, Mupur Chandrada temple of ISKCON is the major reason why devotees all over the world come to this sacred land. Inside the temple you can see the magnificent deities of Pankatattva, Lord Nrsimhadev, Srila Prabhupada and Radha Madhava with the gopis. This is a place flowing with devotion like no other place on earth, and soon in the year 2023 by the mercy of Lord Gauranga, the temple of the Vedic planetarium will officially open and the devotees from all over the world will visit Sridhamapur to witness this grand inauguration. The religious ambience and the serene natural beauty of the place brings peace to our troubled minds. The basic calm aura of the place will fill us up with happiness. And in such a place, if we spend 1 or 2 days attending the temple artis and taking a campus tour with Ganga Bath and Navadwip Parikrama, then we are just released of all our miseries. Lord Sri Krishna appeared on this land some 500 years ago in the mood of Srimati Radharani as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu together with his eternal associates to flood the world with Harinam Sankirtan and distributed Krishna Prema to the most fallen souls of this age. You can read about his pastimes in books such as Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nectar of Devotion and many others. 22-4. Antardwip Samantadwip Parikrama. After settling down we went for darshan at the Chandrada temple. First we got the darshan of His Divine Grace Srila C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Then we took darshan of their lordships Sri Sri Radha Madhava with the Gopis. Then we took darshan of Lord Sri Narasimhadeva, and finally we took darshan of Sri Pankatattva. The temple room was full with so many devotees from all over the world, and the devotees were engaged in chanting and dancing. Wild curtains were going on. We participated for a while, did parikrama of the deities, and then went for breakfast, as we were going to have a lot of places to visit during the day. Srila Prabhupada Sri Narasimhadeva 23 Sri Sri Radha Madhava and Ashtasaki Sri Pankatattva. From left to right: Sri Advaita, Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Gadadhara Pandit, Sri Srinivasacharya 24. I went to buy prasadam for all the devotees as I was handling the meal, since everyone had paid me in advance. We went to Govinda's restaurant, which had a big queue at the serving counter. I saw so many varieties of prasadam and didn't know what to buy, as it was Ekadasi and could not figure out which one was Ekadasi prasadam and which not. I inquired for each item from the devotee at the counter if it was Ekadasi prasadam, and a lady from the back said, "Prabhuji, it is all Ekadasi prasadam." I was really surprised, as had never seen such a wide range. In any case, made a purchase of 7 serves of prasadam of different dishes for us all, and we enjoyed the breakfast together. Thereafter, we went back to Ashodhyan Bhavan to check if the rooms were ready. We got keys for 3 rooms, and 1 room was to be ready by the afternoon, so we moved our things to the 2nd floor where our rooms were. Myself, Nartaki and Gopal stayed together. Maharani and Divya shared 1 room. Krishneel and his father got 1 room, while Jayadeva kept his things in Krishneel's room till his room was made available. While devotees were settling in their rooms, I went to make payments for the accommodation, taxi services, and check on the rest of the parikrama arrangements with Mupur Tourism for Navadwip, Top Parikrama, and the tour guide plus taxi for Jagadishwar Das, who was coming at night. Today, as per our itinerary, we were going to visit the following places: Temple of the Vedic Planetarium, Srila Prabhupada Puspa Samadhi Mandir, ISKCON Sannyasis Samadhi, Bajan Kutter, Goshala, Yogapith, the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, Srinivas Angan, Chandkazi Samadhi, and Sri Jagannath Mandir. 25 Temple of the Vedic Planetarium. We went to visit the Temple of the Vedic Planetarium with another group of devotees and a tour guide from the top office. While we were visiting each level of the gigantic building, the tour guide told us different stories and how the whole project was a dream of Srila Prabhupada, vision of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura, and prediction of Lord Nityananda. Srila Prabhupada was a true visionary. He always had very big ideas for the spreading of Krishna consciousness and the ideal Vedic culture. One of Srila Prabhupada's many gifts to his followers and the entire world was his detailed vision for the Temple of the Vedic Planetarium. Srila Prabhupada had a clear vision for the temple, and he expressed it on many occasions. He wanted a unique Vedic planetarium to present the Vedic perspective of life, including a gigantic display of the material and spiritual worlds, which could be viewed by pilgrims on different levels as they traveled through the planetarium. As in everything he did, Srila Prabhupada was acting in fulfillment of the desires of the previous Acharyas, or spiritual preceptors. A grand temple for Mupur was predicted by none other than Lord Nityananda, the most intimate associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, some 500 years ago. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the father of the modern-day Krishna consciousness movement, narrates a description of the future development of Mupur given by Sri Nityananda Prabhu to Srila Jiva Goswami. When our Lord Chaitanya disappears, by his desire, the Ganges will swell. The Ganges water will almost cover Mupur for 100 years, and then the water will again recede. For some time only the place will remain, devoid of 26 houses. Then again, by the Lord's desire, this place will again be manifest, and the devotees will build temples of the Lord. One exceedingly wonderful temple, Adbhuta Mandira, will appear, from which Gauranga's eternal service will be preached everywhere. We went to the Brahmachari ashram kitchen for their lordships and saw where each of the deities were going to be installed. Deities' dressing room for storing all their clothes and jewelries. Inside Temple of the Vedic Planetarium 27. Inside Temple of the Vedic Planetarium Srila Prabhupada Puspa Samadhi Mandir. Next we visited Srila Prabhupada Puspa Samadhi Mandir. We left our shoes at the shoe stand and went through security check. The security asked if we have cameras or mobile phones, since these were not allowed. Every one of us had our mobile phones, so I stayed back holding on to their things while the others went in, since I had already visited previously. Puspa Samadhi Mandir story. The garland which adorned His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada while placing him in Samadhi was been brought and laid down in his Pushpa Samadhi Mandir at Mupur. A larger-than-life-size brass murti of Srila Prabhupada was been installed and is being worshipped there. 28 ISKCON devotees worship Srila Prabhupada, for he is one of the most confidential servitors of Lord Krishna who has tirelessly spread Krishna consciousness throughout the world. Srila Vishvanatha Chakravarti Thakura says in Sri Sri Gurvastakam prayers, Yasya Prasadad Bhagavat Prasado, meaning by the mercy of the spiritual master one receives the benediction of Krishna. There were a lot of different dioramas inside the temple showing different pastimes of Srila Prabhupada from his childhood till he left this planet. Also there were a display of his books in the gift shop with various other items and also prasadam stalls. There are life-size murtis of areas as well. The mandir also has big dioramas of Krishna's pastimes and that of Lord Ramachandra outside on the walls of the mandir. Srila Prabhupada's car is also parked outside and there is a beautiful fountain and pool on the opposite side with beautiful gardens in the compound and sitting places for devotees and other pilgrims as you can see in the picture below. There are several halls as well where they do seminars and other activities. Srila Prabhupada Puspa Samadhi Mandir 29 Bajan Kutter. From there we went to the Bajan Kutter. The Bajan Kutter is on the immediate left when you walk in through the main gate, which is the straw hut where Srila Prabhupada stayed from 1972 to 1976 while the first main building, the Lotus Building, was built. A 24-hour kirtana takes place here following Srila Prabhupada's instruction that there be continuous chanting of the holy name in the Dham. On the left side is Sri Sri Nityananda Sundara, large neem-wood deities who traveled throughout India on Padayatra. These deities also come out in procession on a chariot every Saturday after Sandhya Arati during winter from the beginning of the Kartika Damodara month till Gora Purnima. Srila Prabhupada first lived in a small hut near the campus's main gate. That was the first structure built in ISKCON Sridhama Mupur. It is still being maintained today according to Srila Prabhupada's desire. He instructed devotees to perform Harinama Kirtana 24 hours a day throughout the year in Sridhama Mupur. Srila Prabhupada's hut became the place of non-stop Harinama Kirtana in 1990 during Gora Purnima. Since then the singing of Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare has continued unremittingly despite huge floods during the years 1999, 2000 and 2006. In this service take part 16 devotees. There are 8 shifts of 3 hours each. 4 groups of 3 devotees each take part in each shift, once during the day and once at night. The department is determined to continue this 24-hour Harinam Kirtana eternally and please Srila Prabhupada by this service. We took a quick darshan and moved on towards the ISKCON Sannyasi's Samadhi. 30 Bajan Kutter ISKCON Sannyasi's Samadhi. From the Bajan Kutter we went to ISKCON Sannyasi's Samadhi and offered our obeisances in front of each Samadhi. There were Samadhis of His Holiness Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaja, His Holiness Srila Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaja and their other god brothers. 31 ISKCON Sannyasi's Samadhi Goshala. From there we went to the Goshala in a bullock cart. It was a great ride as it was a first-time experience for us all. Srila Prabhupada, in his teachings, had often emphasized cow care, teaching us that the society will flourish if cows and brahmanas are taken care of properly. ISKCON's Goshala at Mupur is a happy home for many cows, bulls and calves. They grow up in a natural and peaceful atmosphere and are maintained nicely by a dedicated team of devotees. 32 There are several cows being milked presently, which yields hundreds of liters of milk daily. Milk is sold to the residents of Mupur and also used in the deity and devotee kitchens. There are few pairs of oxen that pull various carts from deities to visitors to garbage pickup. These oxen have been trained up to plow the fields as well. There are several workers at the Goshala and a veterinarian. They have a shop there in the Goshala selling various products made purely from cow dung, cow urine and milk. Maharani and I purchased cow urine from there for our health issues, but unfortunately these were taken away on our way back by the Fiji customs who have no understanding of the importance of cows in our lives and the health benefits the cow urine has. From the Goshala we went to have lunch and a little break as we had now completed all the darshan within the complex, and after lunch we were to go and have darshans of Yogapith, Srinivas Angan, Chandkazi Samadhi, Sri Jagannath Mandir and Balal Deepi. Balal DP was not in our itinerary, but the rickshaw walla took us there as we had spare time left. On our way to the Goshala 33, on our way to the Goshala 34, on our way to the Goshala at the Goshala 35 Yogapith, the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. After lunch we took a rickshaw and went to Yogapith, which is the birthplace of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Unfortunately, photos were not allowed here, so we took whatever we could as quickly as possible. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the year 1482. He performed his pastimes of boyhood and youth here until he took the renounced order of Sannyasa when he was 24 years old. Yogapith is on the banks of the holy Ganga and was discovered in 1887 by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura, which was confirmed by Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaja. The Thakura built a beautiful temple here with the deities of Mahaprabhu and his consorts Visnupriya and Laxmipriya and Radha Madhava. There is also a neem tree in the courtyard that is the exact spot where Lord Chaitanya was born. There are also deities of Mahaprabhu as a child along with his parents, Sasi Devi and Jagannatha Misra. While digging the foundation for this temple, a deity of Adhoksa Vishnu was unearthed, which is believed to have been the household deity of Jagannatha Misra. The Yogapith temple also houses the deities of Sri Sri Lakshmi Nrsimha and Sri Sri Gaura Gadadhara. Down the road from Yogapith is also Sri Chaitanya Matha, the original headquarters of the Gaudiya Matha founded by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura. Srila Sarasvati Thakura's Samadhi is situated here, as well as the Samadhi Mandira of Srila Gorakisora Das Babaji Maharaja, the guru of Srila Sarasvati Thakura. After taking darshan here, we went to Srivasangan, which was just next door. 36 at the Yogapith, birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. 37 Srinivasangan. This is a small temple where the house of Srivas Thakura was once located. On his left altar there are deities of Sri Sri Radhakrishna and Lord Chaitanya. The central altar is dedicated to Mahaprakasha Leela, a Leela in which Lord Chaitanya revealed to the devotees his divine nature. This happened at this very place. Lord Chaitanya is sitting on a throne, Gadadhara Pandita is fanning him with a chamara, and Lord Nityananda holds an umbrella over his head. Gauranitai leading curtain are installed on the right altar. This altar is dedicated to the procession to the house of Kazi, which was headed by Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. At Srivas Thakur's house there is a place known as Kalbanga Danga, the place where the drums were broken. The altar here reminds devotees of how the Muslim Qazi soldiers tried to stop the Sankirtan in Navadvipa, which served as the impetus for the beginning of the civil disobedience movement organized by Lord Chaitanya. Srivas Thakur was a close friend of Sri Gadadhara Pandita and was highly respected by all Vaishnavas of Navadvipa. He was an incarnation of Narada Muni and, like him, with great pleasure chanted the holy name. Although Srivas was married, Vaishnavas still worshipped him as Brahmachari, because Narada Muni maintains eternal celibacy. He really often wore saffron clothes and shaved his head, although sometimes he grew his hair and wore white clothes. To this day, Srivas is called Adi, the perfect servant of the Lord. Srivas's wife, Maulini, who came to the house of Sasamata and took care of little Gauranga with motherly love, was a nurse of Krishna in Vrindavan in her previous life, and her name was Ambika. Srivasa's niece, Narayani, was her sister. Parvata Muni, a great friend of Narada, became the brother of Srivas named Sri 38 Rama Pandita. When Lord Chaitanya accepted sannyasa and left Navadvipa, Srivas, feeling separation from the Lord, moved to another place. At Srinivasangan 39 Chandkazi Samadhi. Next we stopped at Chandkazi Samadhi. It is described in Navadvipa, Sri Navadvipa Dham Mahatmya, by Bhaktivinoda Thakura. When Nityananda Prabhu with Jiva Goswami entered to Chandkazi's village, he said, "O Jiva, hear my words. The Chandkazi's village is none other than Mathura." After performing Kirtana, Gauranga gave love of God to the Kazi and liberated him. Mathura's king Kamsa of Krishna Leela became Chandkazi in Gaura Leela. For that reason, Gauranga addressed the Kazi as his maternal uncle, and out of fear the Kazi took shelter of Gauranga's lotus feet. Under orders from Hussain Shah, who was the king of the Bengal Empire and Jarasandha in Krishna Leela, the Kazi caused disturbance during Kirtana performance by breaking the mridangas. The Lord, appearing in the form of Nrsimha, put fear in the Kazi's heart. Like Kamsa, the Kazi cowered in fear. Sri Chaitanya, however, gave him prema and thus made the Kazi a great devotee. Chandkazi Samadhi 40 Sri Jagannath Mandir. After Chandkazi Samadhi, we went to Sri Jagannath Mandir and got darshan of their lordships Sri Jagannatha, Sri Baladeva and Subhadra Devi. There are different pastimes of Lord Krishna done with dioramas, how Krishna was taken to Gokul from Mathura by his father Vasudeva, how Lord Krishna stole the gopis' clothes and several other pastimes. There is a beautiful garden as well and a big pond at the back of the temple. We participated in the afternoon arti, heard some pastimes of Lord Jagannath as well. During the time of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there was a devotee by the name of Jagadish. He used to always travel to Jagannath Puri to get the darshan of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Jagannath, Baladeva and Subhadra. However, due to old age, he lost his eyesight and yet wanted to go. So once when he was prepared to go, he had a dream where Lord Jagannath instructed him to go to the Ganges and he will find a log from which he can request a leper from the village to carve the deities. This story is quite similar to the King Indradyumna's story of Jagannath Puri. There is a whole exhibition of how these deities appeared as you enter the gates of the temple and find it on the left. Different dioramas can be seen in the show glass with the story written on it. Unfortunately, I am unable to tell the whole story here as it will turn out to be a book of its own. Such is the glories of Lord Jagannath as it cannot be explained in one page. Hence I encourage the readers to read Srila Prabhupada's books which is full of nectar. 41 Sri Jagannath Mandir 42 Balal DP. On our way back to the ISKCON temple, we stopped at Balal DP. I have not heard much about it, but all I know is that it is an ancient mound named locally after Balala Sena of the Sena dynasty. No spiritual stories probably connected to the place, so we just took photos and then headed back. At Balal DP 43 back at Ashodhyan Bhavan, we had our shower, did laundry and went for evening darshan and Sandhya Arti, did a little bit of shopping, had our dinner and then called it a night since next day we were to go for more parikrama with a tour guide, this time to Godramdwip, Ritudwip and Mumksi. Evening darshan at Sri Chandrada Mandir 44-5. Godramdwip, Ritudwip, Mumksi Parikrama. Next morning 23rd December 2019, we all met at the Ashodhyan Bhavan reception at 4:00 am. It was so freezing outside and all foggy. While on our way to Chandrada temple, we met Jagadishwar Das who had just arrived from Fiji Islands. Unfortunately, the driver had dropped him opposite the Govinda's restaurant and he did not know where to go. We greeted him and asked Krishneel to show his father to their room so he could freshen up and if willing then can come for Mangal Arti. The temple hall was filled with devotees and so many buses full of the Bengalis also came from different places. Everyone was busy with their chanting, so we took darshan of Srila Prabhupada and joined in the chanting. Soon the conch shells were blown and the darshans opened. Their lordships looked so beautiful in their night dressing and very jubilant. The Bengalis made their auspicious sounds and a devotee started leading the Sri Sri Guru Ashtaka. Everyone joined with the chorus and soon we were all dancing on the chant. Next was Arti of Lord Narsingadeva and then Tulasi Arti. It was a feeling from out of this world for participating with so many hundreds of devotees. Mangal Arti at Sri Chandrada Mandir 45. Mangal Arti at Sri Chandrada Mandir 46. After the Arti was over, we went back to our rooms to get ready for the day's tour and completed our chanting. We came back for morning darshans and Srila Prabhupada's Guru Puja, before going for breakfast. As soon after that we were to leave for the parikrama. It was a very beautiful darshan that we had and every moment spent was like full of nectar and transcendental bliss. Morning darshan at Sri Chandrada Mandir 47. Lord Narsimhadeva darshan at Sri Chandrada Mandir. After breakfast, we went back to Ashodhyan Bhavan and waited for our transport and the tour guide who were running late. I called them several times to check and then they finally came. Our tour guide's name was Suvarnagar Das, a young lad in his early 20s. Suvarnagar Das turned out to be a very talented young man and very well versed with the scriptures and fluent in English, which we later discovered during the visits to various places. The Lord's pastimes is unlimited and his spiritual abode is so gigantic that even 1,000,000 lifetimes is not enough to visit all the holy places of Navadvip. However, we somehow managed to visit some of the prominent places due to the limited stay we had. We visited Suvarna Bihar, Suravikund, Bhaktivinod Thakur's Bajan 48 Kutter Samadhi, Amgada, Nrisimhapalli, Hriharkshtra, Champahati, Vidyanagar, Saranga Murari House, Vrindavan Das Thakur's house and Ahata, to name a few as you can see in the pictures below. Unfortunately, I am not qualified enough to talk about the Lord's different pastimes that took place in these holy places and encourage readers to read books by the Acharyas on the subject of interest. A lot of time we had spent at Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house, as this is from where he had the vision of the Adbhuta Mandir of the Vedic planetarium. We could clearly see from here the top and Srila Prabhupada's Puspa Samadhi Mandir, which were across the Ganges. At Gaur Gadadhara temple we got the garland prasadam of the Lord. We also visited an ISKCON temple where we got the Mahaprasadam of the Lord as his remnants of foodstuffs that were offered just before we arrived. We all shared a morsel from one plate, which reminded us of how Lord Shiva became so ecstatic after honoring the Mahaprasadam of Lord Vishnu. There are so many nice devotees doing great service to the Lord who were very welcoming and shared the different pastimes of the Lord with us. We experienced so much love, care and affection by these great devotees who only have one purpose in life, that is to serve wholeheartedly. 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54 Sri Gaur Gadadhar 55 Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur House 56 Old Temple of Sri Gaur Gadadhar 57, 58, 59 After visiting all the holy places, we headed back to Sridhamyapur. By the time we reached, it was 5:30 p.m. and dark already, which is the case during cold seasons here. We then went for Ganga Snan at the Ghat. We took darshan of Ganga Devi at the new temple that has been built by the Ghat and with facilities upgraded. We offered our prayers to Mother Ganga and lamps. There are facilities now for men women to change, which is a good thing. Few people were already there taking dips in the Ganges, though it was dark, so we decided to go in as well. First we offered our obeisances and then myself, Jagadiswar, Krishneel, Maharani, Divya and even my little boy Gopal also took a dip in the Ganges. The water was extremely cold but we really loved it. I did my Gayatri mantra as well in the Ganges water and changed my Brahmin thread. My wife and Jyadeva waited outside and looked after our belongings, but they took a drop of water on their heads. 60 We saw some group of people also taking someone's corpse for cremation, which was a bit scary, but then we realized the person departed must have been liberated due to leaving his body in the holy dam, so nothing to be scared of. After Ganga Snan, we went back to our rooms to change and then went for Sandhya Arti. We also visited the exhibition in the Sri Sri Radha Madhava Temple Hall, which is next to Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa. Everything has been so beautifully done. We also made some purchases from the gift shop in there. After that we had our dinner and myself and Gopal called it a night, as next day we were going to Ekachakra while my wife took the others outside the temple gates for shopping, as the ladies wanted to buy gopi suits and the men dhatis and kurtas, as there were lots of cheaper options available. Next morning, 24th December 2019, we all met again at the Ashodhyan Bhavan reception and went for Mangal Arti. After Mangal Arti we left straight away for Ekachakra, as it was a long drive and we wanted to arrive by 9:00 am so could make the most out of the day by visiting all the important places before coming back. We took bottled water, fruits and some light snacks to have on the way, as breakfast and lunch arrangements were made at Ekachakra by Suvarna Gardas to help us out, as we did not know anyone there. He also made arrangements for a tour guide and gave details of the contact person to meet at the temple office. We really looked forward for the day's event, which would definitely be filled with joy, adventures and of course Krishna consciousness. Last I came here was in 2007, so expected a lot of changes since that time. The main temple had just started to be built. 61-6 Ekachakra is the birthplace of Lord Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who is the personification of the love that originated in Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was born to a pious Brahmana family and his father's name was Hadayaha and mother's name was Padmavati. We first came to the Ekachakra ISKCON temple and took darshan of their lordships Sri Sri Gauranitai. It is a nice beautiful temple with exhibitions and prasadam hall building opposite it, ashram for the residents, devotees, offices and farms. Met with the contact person and went to have our breakfast after taking darshan. Thereafter, we met with the tour guide and started our Padayatra of the Ekachakra Dam. Unfortunately, I cannot recall the exact sequence in which we visited the rest of the places, so please excuse my mistakes. Ekakarka ISKCON Temple 62, Ekachakra ISKCON Temple 63, Breakfast in Ekachakra Sutaika Mandir, Lord Nityananda birthplace 64. We went to Sutaika Mandir, which is the exact spot where Lord Nityananda appeared. In the main altar of the temple is a deity of Lord Nityananda. There is a deity of Mahaprabhu to his left and also a deity of Advaita to his right. We went to Sasti Tala, Kadai Pundit Bhavan, Bishwarap Tala, Sri Mandir, Sarvatirtha Kund, where Lord Nityananda brought sacred waters from all holy places to this Kund to save the local residents from traveling to the Ganges to take a sacred bath. It is named Hantugada as Lord Nityananda Prabhu used to carry out the Dadi Cheetah festival of giving chipped rice with yogurt prasadam here, and he would take the prasadam kneeling down. At the center of the pond is a submerged temple. Next to the Sarvatirtha Kund is Naripota, where the umbilical cord of Nityananda Prabhu was placed by his parents Hadai Pandita Padmavati Devi. We offered our obeisances to both the holy places. I saw one Western devotee girl there and got really inspired by her and thought how fortunate she is that she got the opportunity to come and chant in such a glorious place and have become a devotee, and yet we, though from Indian origin, are still engaged in material activities and despite having money are so unfortunate to not being able to visit the holy dams regularly. I really appreciated Srila Prabhupada's contribution at this place, as how he has brought us fallen souls at the feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda. Without Srila Prabhupada, we would still be stuck in conditioned way life of meat eating, gambling, illicit sex life and taking intoxication. Thank you Srila Prabhupada for everything you have done for us with all my heart. 65 Umbilical cord inside the tomb. 66 Sarvatirtha Kund. We also went to Pandavatala, where the Pandavas lived with their mother Kunti when they were exiled to the forest. This area is bordered by several Kali Kadamba trees. At Pandavatala, there is a deity of Sri Sri Radhakrishna which is looked after by ISKCON devotees. Bhim also killed the demon named Baka who used to eat human flesh in Ekachakra, and his bone is also found in one of the village to date. Unfortunately, we could not go there due to time constraints as it was a bit too far. 67 This is where the Pandavas stayed, marks the place where Queen Kunti cooked. 68 We went to Kadam Kandi. Kadam means clay and Kandi means Gada. Kadam Kandi marks the spot where Lord Nityananda recovered the Bankim Raya deity from the Yamuna river. There's a small temple here with deities of Sri Gaur Nityananda, Krishna Balarama and Sadpuja Gauranga. We were told that Lord Nityananda left this planet by entering into the deity of Bankim Raya. This is also the place where Lord Nityananda used to play. Lord Nityananda left this planet by entering into the deity of Bankim Raya. 69 Deities of Sri Gaur Nityananda, Krishna Balarama and Sadpuja Gauranga. 70 We visited Kundal Tala. This is the place where Lord Nityananda used his earring to block a hole, thereby preventing a snake which lived in it from coming out and troubling the residents of this area. We also visited Moresvara Shiva temple, where Sri Hadai Pandita performed worship on the appearance of Lord Nityananda in Ekachakra. This deity roared, and Advtakriya and other devotees could hear and understand the roar's meaning at their residences in Mupur and Santipur that an Avadhuta had appeared on earth. On our way back to the temple, we bought more bottled water for the devotees and a souvenir toy for Gopal and peacock feather. Maharani also bought peacock feathers from here. Back at the temple we had our lunch. We sponsored for the Raboga, so we got the opportunity to honor prasadam that was offered directly to their lordships. Rajabhoga special lunch at Ekachakra. 71 After lunch, we went to see the exhibition. It had dioramas of different pastimes of Lord Nityananda, as you can see in the pictures below and on following pages. Exhibition at Ekachakra. 72 Exhibition at Ekachakra. 73 Exhibition at Ekachakra. 74 Bidding farewell to our tour guide and other devotees, and with a desire for returning again in the near future, we headed back to Sridhamupur. Leaving Ekachakra, by the time we arrived in Sridhamupur, it was evening. We had our shower, had dinner and then took darshan of their lordships. There was Gita Mela festival going on, and I suppose only Jayadeva went to see, as the others called it a night, since the next day we were flying off to Bhubaneswar, our next stop. Gita Mela in Mupur. 75 Evening darshan at Chandrada Mandir. Next morning, which was Christmas Day, 25th December 2019, we again met at the Ishodyan Bhavan reception and went for Mangal Arti. As usual, it was all 76 perfect with the Supreme Perfect in the center. After Mangal Arti, we packed up our things and were all set for the ride back to Kolkata for our flight to Bhubaneswar. Morning darshan at Chandrada Mandir. 77 Final darshan of Lord Sri Radha Madhava. After packing our things, while we were waiting for the transport to come, everyone went for final morning darshans, and I went to arrange breakfast and lunch to have on the way and on the flight. We offered our last prayers to Sri Pankatattva, Sri Sri Radha Madhava, Lord Sri Narsingadeva and Srila Prabhupada. Everyone captured the beautiful forms of Sri Sri Radha Madhava within the core of their hearts and a desire to return again. Our flight was in the evening at 7:45 p.m. However, we had decided to leave early to avoid getting stuck in traffic due to fog or any major accidents, which is a norm for the roads of Kolkata. The flight was good and we arrived on time in 78 Bhubaneswar. Maharani and Divya had excess luggage, so they were asked to pay extra as they did so much shopping in Mupur out of excitement, as this was their first trip and did not realize that the limit on domestic flight was different to international flight. At Kolkata Airport 79, at Kolkata Airport 80, at Kolkata Airport 81-7. ISKCON Bhubaneswar. After we came out of the airport, to our surprise there was no one to pick us up. We waited for a while but still no one came. Tried to somehow connect to the internet using available Wi-Fi and called the taxi owner as none of us had a local SIM. We were told the transport was already at the airport but we could not find anyone. After an hour had passed, everyone started becoming uncomfortable, so we got two Innova taxis from the airport to ISKCON Bhubaneswar temple. By the time we reached it was almost 11:00 p.m. We took our things by hand since the gates were closed and the vehicles could not go in. One devotee came, whom we asked for the contact person, but he had gone home already, however had left our room keys with the temple commander. Our rooms were on the third floor and there were no lifts in the property, so we had to carry everything up the stairs. We only got 3 rooms, so requested Jayadeva to share with Jagadishwar and Krishneel. After everyone settled in, we had our shower and met for dinner in Maharani and Divya's room, as I had already arranged for it with my contact person whose name was Suvarna Das. I also arranged milk and fruits with him for offering to our Laddu Gopal, which my wife did. She had been making arrangements for Laddu Gopal's Bhoga offering every day in Mupur. Since there were no hand basins in the rooms, we had to fill drinking water from one standard hand basin on our floor for everyone to share and distilled water from downstairs near the canteens. 82 After dinner we all took rest. The next morning, 26th December 2019, we were to go to Jagannath Puri for parikrama. I was the first one to wake up in the whole temple and then another resident devotee. I got ready and went to the car park and did my chanting while the others got up one after another and gradually came to the temple for Mangal Aarti. First the Aarti was performed in the outside small temple before the main temple opened. Following the Mangal Aarti there was Guru Puja for Srila Prabhupada and His Holiness Srila Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaja in the Samadhi Mandir simultaneously. After Aarti was over, the temples were closed due to a solar eclipse that very same day, and we were also informed by our contact that we can only go to Jagannath Puri after midday since every temple is currently closed. The restaurant was also closed, so our breakfast was arranged together with the resident devotees by Suvarna Das for both the days we were staying there. I also requested him to give Bhoga for our Laddu Gopal, and he arranged from the main kitchen after the Bhoga for temple deities had gone. He was a very helpful devotee in every way. He arranged a separate room for Jayadeva as per our initial arrangement and also gave Wi-Fi from his phone since temple Wi-Fi was down due to internet problems, as there was some disturbance in India by the terrorists, due to which the Prime Minister had put up some control measures in the country to stop the means of communication between the terrorists. I also made arrangements with another company for transportation since the first one did not turn up at the airport and we did not want to take any chances. By midday the solar eclipse was over and we were now ready for the trip to Jagannath Puri. The bus was here and I arranged for lunch and bottled water for everyone to take on the bus while we waited for the tour guide to come. The 83 same bus we arranged for us to be taken to Bhubaneswar airport the next day, as it was very spacious and affordable as well at the same time. Dinner in the room at Bhubaneswar Guest House. 84 Mangal Aarti at Bhubaneswar Temple. 85 Mangal Aarti at Bhubaneswar Temple. 86 Guru Puja at Samadhi Mandir. 87 Morning Darshan at Bhubaneswar Temple. 88 You can see both my children in above photo. Raghunath Gopal Das holding Laddu Gopal Bal Mukunda at Bhubaneswar Temple Guest House. 89 8 Jagannath Puri. After the tour guide came, who was a Brahmachari from the temple, we left for Jagannath Puri. It was almost an hour and a half drive from Bhubaneswar. Our first stop was Sakshi Gopal Temple. Unfortunately, cameras and mobile phones were not allowed, so we only took few photos from the outside. Same was the situation with Jagannath Temple and other places we visited in Puri. The pandas at the Sakshi Gopal temple wanted us to buy tickets for going inside the temple, but since our tour guide knew all the rules and was a tough person, he took us straight in. One has to be really careful of the pandas in the holy places. We took darshan of Sakshi Gopal deity. It was a life-size deity and blackish in color. The deity was so beautiful and attractive. I managed to touch the feet while offering a donation. We gave some good donations to the pundits, so managed to get a lot of Mahaprasadam as they were really pleased with us. We went and sat behind the temple in the courtyard to take the prasadam, which was made of puffed rice, and heard the stories from the tour guide. He told us that there were a few legends about how it became a revered shrine for Lord Krishna. One is about the Lord coming to bear witness to a village wedding for his young and poor Brahmin devotee. Another is that the temple is one of the 16 shrines of King Vara, the grandson of Lord Krishna, built for the Lord. Nevertheless, the temple also acts as a marking gateway for those who arrive to the holy city of Puri and should first take darshan of Sakshi Gopal before taking darshan of Lord Jagannath. We enjoyed coconut water as well, which was being sold outside the temple under a tree. 90 outside Sakshi Gopal temple, 91 outside Sakshi Gopal temple. Next we went to Jagannath temple, which was a long walk due to pilgrims coming in thousands. The vehicles could not go. We walked barefoot all the way, including Gopal. It was great austerity for him, but he loved it. 92 due to the temple being closed for half day, there was long queues of people wanting to go in and take darshan. Every 10 minutes there were offerings done to Lord Jagannath, Baladeva and Subhadra, as they had not eaten anything since morning due to the solar eclipse. First we decided to visit all the small temples there and look at the great architecture. Nartaki got left behind, which made us really worried, so myself and the tour guide went looking for her and finally found her. After taking darshan of small temples, we joined in the queue to go inside the main temple. The tour guide told us that these temples were constructed almost a millennium ago. Jagannath Puri temple holds a great religious value amongst the Hindus as a part of the sacred Char Dham pilgrimage sites. Built on a high pedestal, the richly carved temple structure stands protected with 4 majestic gates. The architectural wonder is also home to many scientifically unexplained miracles. Respecting the ancient Indian belief of never sending a visitor back with an empty stomach, prasadam is prepared with centuries-old, preserved recipes, and the food here is never wasted. The annual Rath Yatra draws in millions of devotees who travel miles to see the deities roam around the temple surroundings in chariots. The pundits were changing the flags of Lord Jagannath's temple and were distributing at a donation, so we got some for ourselves as well. That was a great blessing from Lord Jagannath upon us all. I got Gopal to sit on my shoulders while going inside the temple, as there was pushing and rushing going on and children could easily get hurt or lost. Due to such a large number of people, I only got a glimpse of Lord Jagannath, but believe even that is enough for me. Few of the group members managed to get a good darshan as they gave donations to the pundits instead of putting in the hundi 93 available. Getting the darshan of the temple chakra is also as good as getting the darshan of the Lord Jagannath temple chakra flag darshan 94. After darshan we got little prasadam and went to some village where we saw many memorabilia of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Unfortunately, I am unable to recall the exact place. It's just sometimes so happens that the Lord does not want us to remember certain things, so it is deleted from memory. However, I do remember seeing old writings, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda's shoes, which were kept nicely in the show glass. From here we headed back to the bus as it was dark already and we could not visit other places due to short of time caused by the solar eclipse. Sometimes the Lord does not disclose his holy Dham completely to the devotees so that they come back again and again to get more darshan. Back at the ISKCON Bhubaneswar temple, there were lots of people coming to take darshans as well, and it was like a big festival going on. Food stalls, information stalls, book stalls and many other stalls were set up in the courtyard of the temple. After taking darshan we called it a night as nobody was hungry, as the next day we were off to Delhi and then to Vrindavan, my eternal home. In the pictures below, you can see us wearing the flag remnants from the temple of Lord Jagannath, which we took at the Bhubaneswar airport the next day. Bhubaneswar Airport 95-9. Vrindavan. On the morning of 27th December 2019, we attended Mangal Aarti at the temple and left for Bhubaneswar Airport at 6:00 am for our flight at 9:05 am to Delhi. In the flight we met with an adorable and playful little girl, probably 3-5 years old, who became friends with us as she was sitting with her mother in the front seats of ours. The whole flight she was standing on the seat and talking to us and played with Gopal. All the children on the flight received an Indigo Airline passport diary and she given it to us and tells her mother so sweetly Maadako in Mera passport Lelya. We arrived in Delhi at 11:40 am and when we came out our transport was already there, so we loaded our things and headed off for Vrindavan. On the way, we were stopped by the police. They asked the driver to show all the papers for the vehicle and where we were from. When they came to know that we were foreigners, they let us go. We reached Vrindavan at around 4:00 p.m. in the afternoon and were going to stay at the MVT. We checked in and after all the formalities were done, we went to our rooms. After settling down, we went to the temple for darshan. It was a feeling of being at home and I thanked their lordships for having me again. Vrindavan is one of the oldest cities on the banks of Yamuna in Vraja. Vrindavan is considered to be one of the most important places of pilgrimage for the devotees of Lord Sri Krishna. Lord Krishna had spent his childhood pastimes here. The name Vrindavan means Vrinda for Tulasi and Van for forest. During the time of Lord Chaitanya, everything was lost, so on his instructions the 6 Goswamis looked for all the holy places where Lord Krishna had his pastimes, which were hidden to our material eyes. 96 There are more than 5,000 temples in Vrindavan, of which the most prominent temples are of the Goswamis, namely Sri Govinda, Gopinatha, Maidana Mohana, Radha Damodara, Sri Radha Ramana, Sri Radha Vinoda and ISKCON Temple. The vibrant surroundings perfectly depict the playful and benevolent nature of Lord Krishna. You can read of Lord Krishna's pastimes in the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Krishna book translated by our Srila Prabhupada. It is said that one can only enter Vraja by the mercy of Srimati Radharani. All the trees in Vraja are said to be kalpa vrikshas and can grant any boon. However, the devotees of Lord Krishna only ask for pure devotional service. First, I took everyone for Srila Prabhupada's darshan at the Samadhi temple and then the deities of Sri Sri Gauranitai, Sri Sri Krishna Balarama and Sri Sri Radha Shyama Sundara. After darshan, we went to Govinda's restaurant for dinner as everyone was very hungry. While they were waiting, I went to meet my Ayurvedic doctor, Dr. Manoj, since I had to give him a parcel sent by a devotee from Fiji Islands. After dinner, I called our tour guide and discussed about the daily parikrama program. 97 Evening Darshan at Sri Sri Krishna Balaram Darshan Vrindavan. 98 Srila Prabhupada Original Samadhi Mandir in Vrindavan. 99 Sri Sri Krishna Balaram Temple in Vrindavan. 100 Sri Sri Krishna Balaram Temple in Vrindavan. The next morning, 28th December 2019, we woke up, had our shower and went for Mangal Aarti. First the Aarti was at Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi Mandir and then we went into the main temple. A devotee led Vibhavari Sisa Kirtan first and then Narsingha prayer. We then participated in Tulasi Aarti. There were 4 sets of Aarti groups formed, 2 sets for ladies and 2 sets for men. After Mangal Aarti, we went for Vrindavan Parikrama. It was freezing and the tar-sealed road was very cold as well, so I requested everyone to wear socks and come, as the previous year when I came with my mother, the soles of my feet had burst and I also got blisters. I asked everyone to offer their obeisances at the starting point and then started walking as is the custom of doing parikrama. The parikrama usually takes 2 hours on foot. On the way, we chanted 101 and I showed them all the places as we went past. First came the Bhaktivedanta Hospice, then Bhaktivedanta Goshala. We went past the Maidana Tur, then came Kalya Ghat and then the Maidana Mohana Temple. As we kept walking, we went past Imlitala, Sringaravat and then Kashigata on the bank of the Yamuna. We offered our obeisances at the Yamuna temple and took darshan of Yamuna Devi. Gopal and Nartaki did parikrama in a rickshaw. This way we completed our Vrindavan parikrama and came back to MVT. By then it was morning. We took darshan at the temple and the tour guide J. Keshava Das brought our breakfast. We offered it to our Ladu Gopal and then honored the prasadam while he followed up on the transport to come and take us for Govardhan Parikrama. At MVT Vrindavan 102 Sri Sri Krishna Balarama Tempi Vrindavan 10310. Vrahmandal Parikrama. Day 1 Vrahmandal Parikrama is a spiritual journey on earth as one's way to salvation, which was first started by Lord Brahma himself. It is an 84 kos parikrama equivalent to 252 kilometers that comprises of 12 vanas, forests, 24 upvanas, groves, the sacred hill Govardhan, the divine river Yamuna and numerous holy places along its banks. Some of the places are in remote areas and require several hours of driving deep into the interiors. We got the opportunity to have prasadam in Vrajavasi's house with special chapati made on cow dung cake, candy, on some days during the parikrama. It was an awesome and enjoyable feel of Vraja. We covered most of the places of darshan where Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited himself 500 years ago. When I came with my mother in 2017, we also did Madhukari, that is begging for prasadam from the Vrajavasi's homes after Thakuraji had eaten. To describe the glories of Brahmandal, one needs supernatural powers, which is the grace and mercy of the Lord. Hence, I leave the glorification of each Dham in Vraja with our esteemed masters who have already written vast literatures on the subject. We arrived at Radhakund from where we were to start our parikrama. Govardhan parikrama normally takes 5-8 hours on foot. We offered our obeisances at the starting point and also hired a tuk-tuk for keeping our shoes and other belongings and for devotees to travel in, if anyone gets tired, especially Gopal and Jagadishwar due to their age. Our first stop was at Kusuma Sarovara. We offered our obeisance and sprinkled the water on our heads. Then we were told about the pastime of Kusuma Sarovara. It is said that Saint Ashtavakra performed his penance here at this kund while waiting for the divine appearance of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. After taking bath at this kund, the Muni attained the body of a gopi with the blessings of Yogamaya Devi. Lord Chaitanya also bathed in this kund. 104 story time at Kusuma Sarovara. 105 darshan of Manazi Ganga. 106-107 we got the beautiful darshan of Sri Sri Radha Banabihariji. This temple is run by ISKCON devotees. There is a beautiful story that once Krishna was combing the hair of Sri Radha and Radharani was looking at Krishna from her mirror that she was holding in her hand. We visited the Mansi Ganga. It was manifested by the will of Lord Krishna. One who bathes in the Ganges is freed from all sins, but one who takes bath in the Mansi Ganga also attains pure devotional service. There is a place outside the Mansi Devi temple where you can take shower from the waters of Mansi Ganga without having to entering the kund. You can also get Govardhan Darshan in the middle of Mansi Ganga. We also stopped at Sri Haridevji Mahara Mandir. Since Govardhan has more than 70 holy places to visit, it was not practical for stopping at all the places since we only had one day parikrama allocated for Govardhan, so the tour guide chose some specific places for stopping and shared the pastimes. This temple is said to belong to the time of Lord Krishna. Radharani and her friend along with some cowherds had to meet Krishna on the banks of Mansi Ganga. However, since Krishna was late, they got worried and started calling Haridev, Haridev, and so Krishna appeared in the deity form as Haridev. This temple was established by King Varanab, the great-grandson of Lord Krishna. 108-109 Sri Sri Lakshmi Narayan Mandir. 110 We also got the beautiful darshan of Lakshmi Narayan at the Lakshmi Narayan Mandir. Unfortunately, we were not told of any stories here by the tour guide due to overcrowding, so we offered our obeisances and moved on. At the village of Anayur Mukharband, we got darshan of Sri Govindaji as shown in picture below. The name Anayur came from the famous ceremony of Annakuta of feeding Govardhan Hill. When Krishna, in the huge form of Govardhan, was eating all the wonderful preparations brought by the Vrajavasis, he began snapping his finger saying, Anayur, Anayur, meaning bring more, bring more. Darshan of Annakuta. 111 Thereafter, we got darshan of Govinda Kund, which is my second most favorite places in Govardhan, as Radhakund and Shyama Kund are my most favorite of places in Vraja. At Govinda Kund, we sprinkled the water on our heads and offered obeisances. We also fed the monkeys here with bananas. They were just going crazy when we were feeding them and started climbing on us and snatching the bananas from our hands. Lord Krishna used to come here and take his afternoon nap as a child after grazing the cows. His friends would set up a bed of flowers and leaves for his comfort and would massage his feet. There are also various Govardhan Silas here with footprint of Krishna, calf footprint, flute marks, etc. Govinda Kund. 112 Govardhan Silas here with footprint of Krishna, calf footprint, flute marks, etc. Feeding the monkeys at Govinda Kund. 113 Feeding the monkeys at Govinda Kund. From here we went to Pukri Kalota Baba Mandir and then to Srinathji Mandir and took darshan. On the way we took several other darshans as well and some photo shoots. Pukri Kalota is the tail of Govardhan, which is in the shape of a peacock from the top. There was a cowherd boy named Lota. When Akrura was taking Krishna and Balarama on a chariot to Mathura, Lota ran out to Krishna and asked, "Where are you going? I have prepared prasadam for you." Krishna said, "I am going to Mathura and will come day after tomorrow to take prasadam." Lota Baba is still waiting here for Krishna to return, and he himself has not eaten or slept for the last 5,000 years. Unfortunately, we are unable to see him with our material eyes. We also visited Srinathji Mahara temple. Srinathji is a form of Krishna, manifested as a 7-year-old child who lifted Govardhan hill to overpower Indira. 114 Pukri Kalota Mandir Govardhan 115 Srinathji Mahara Mandir Govardhan 116 Govardhan Parikrama Marg Jadeva and myself also made our eternal homes from the Silas available at the tail of Govardhan while others were still trying to catch up on us. We also had our lunch break at one of the restaurants organized by J. Keshava Das. 117 My eternal home in Govardhan Jayadeva's eternal home in Govardhan 118 From here, my wife, Gopal and Jagadiswar together with the tour guide took to the tuk-tuk and went straight to Radhakund while the rest of us kept walking. The two ladies Maharani and Divya were a bit slow compared to us, however when we reached the junction, we waited for them. After waiting for some time and seeing they have not arrived, I hired a rickshaw and went back to check on them but could not find. So we just decided to go to Radhakund and wait for them there, and to our surprise, they had reached before us. Perhaps we took different routes, that's why did not meet at the junction. In any case, we took darshan of Radhakund and Shyamakund, sprinkled water on our heads and then left for where the vehicle was parked and headed back to Vrindavan. I prayed to Radhakund and Shyamakund for pure devotional service and expressed my desire to return. I don't think we need to talk about the story of Radhakund and Shyamakund as it is. Everyone is already aware of it. 119 120 121 11. Vrahmandal Parikrama. Day 2 After arriving at MVT, we had our shower and went for evening darshan at the temple, then dinner and retired to bed as the next day awaited with more spiritual adventures. The next day, 29th December 2019, we attended Mangal Aarti, got darshans of their lordships, had breakfast and left for Mathura. Today we were going to visit Yamyami Temple, Dwarkadhish Temple, Sweetavra Temple, Adivra Temple, Janmabhoomi, Lord Krishna's birthplace, Keshavdev Temple, Daji Mandir, Utswar Mahadev Temple, Madhuvan, Talvan, Kumudvan and Bahulavan. We had great darshans at all the places except at Lord Krishna's birthplace. Nartaki was not allowed in as she was carrying a small knife with her car keys in the purse, so the rest of us went for darshan only while she waited outside. At Yamyami Temple, we got darshan of Yamra and Yamuna Devi as they are brother and sister. We also got darshan at Kupja Mandir which had beautiful deities. Yamyami Temple Kupja Mandir 122 at Dwarkadhish Temple. Photos were not allowed, but Jayadeva was able to get a snap as you can see in picture below. The Dwarkadish Temple, touted as one of the holiest temples in Mathura for its elaborate architecture and paintings. The deity is made of black marble. The ceilings of the temple showcase various aspects of the Lord's pastimes and it looks magnanimous. We also got beautiful darshans of Adi Vrahadeva and Swethavradeva. Adi Vrahadeva temple is located near to the Dwarkadish temple, which has a red color deity of Vrahadeva. It is small in size but big in stature. Lord Adivra has a glorious legacy beginning with Satyuga when sage Kapil Muni was his ardent devotee. Indra sought the deity of Adivra from him as Kapil Muni was pleased with him. After defeating Indra in a mighty battle, Ravana brought the wonderful deity to his kingdom of Lanka. Having killed the notorious Ravana, Lord Sri Rama established the same pious deity of Adivra in his palace at Ayodhya. Shatrufna, the younger brother of Lord Rama, brought this deity with him to Mathura while coming on a mission to kill Lavanasar and established it in the Adivra temple. The Swethavradeva is kept at the house of one villager who normally doesn't allow everyone for darshan. However, we were fortunate enough to get the darshan and do parikrama. One who does parikrama of Lord Varadeva has already done parikrama of entire earth since Lord Vraha is holding Bhudevi on his tusks. We did 3 parikrama of Adi Varadeva and 3 of Swethavradeva. In Madhuvan, it is said that Lord Krishna appeared here in all 4 yugas. In Satyuga, he killed the demon named Madhu. Dhruva Mahara also performed severe austerities in Madhuvan on the consent of Sri Narada Muni, and so Lord Vishnu appeared here to grant him a boon. We visited the Dhruva Narayan temple here as well. In Talvan, Lord Balarama killed the demon named Danyakasura. In Bahulavan, once Srimati Radharani was in her sulky mood. She hid herself in a kunya here. In separation from her, Krishna became completely distressed. With the help of the 123 Sakhas, he was able to find Srimati Radharani and with great difficulty he pacified her mood. It is believed that any desire of a person will be fulfilled who takes bath here in Baghulkund. You can see in the coming pages picture of Baghulkund and Baghul Mandir with the deities of Sri Krishna, a tiger, a cow, its calf and a brahmana. A cow named Bahula was once drinking water and a tiger attacked her. She told the tiger to allow her to first go and give milk to her newly born calf, and once she is done will come back to be eaten by the tiger. The tiger agreed. The cow, when coming back, was overheard by a brahmana on what had happened and was followed by the calf and the brahmana to the tiger's cave. While the tiger was still undecided on whom to eat, the cow, the brahmana or the calf, Lord Krishna appeared on the scene and saved them while giving education on moral values to the tiger. Lord Chaitanya also once came to Balavan and got absorbed in Krishna Prema. All the beautiful sounds and the cool breezes were enchanting. He saw two parrots sitting on a tree and discussing pastimes of Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani. The parrots' names were Sukha and Suri. At Daji Mandir, one can see the largest and most famous deity of Lord Balarama in the whole of Vraja. Daji means Krishna's elder brother. The deity is almost 7 feet tall and was installed by Vranabha Mahara. Lord Balarama at this place showed his original form as the Supreme Personality of Godhead to the cowherd boys once while herding the cows. 124 Darshan at Dwarkadhish Temple, 125 Darshan of Adi Vrahadeva, 126 Darshan of Sweta Vrahadeva, 127 Darshan of Sri Lakshmi Narayan, Sri Dhruva Narayana and Sri Girira, 128 Darshan at Sri Bihari Mandir in Madhuvan, 129 Lunch at Yamuna Ghat, a little picnic for us all. 130 Darshan at Sri Daji Mandir of Mata Vruni, Mata Rivati and Sri Balaramaji, 131 Darshan of Sri Dhruva Narayan Mandir, 132. It was a great experience visiting such beautiful holy places, and I can't find words to fully describe the happiness we were experiencing. Darshan of Baghulkund at Baghulavan, 133 Darshan at Baghulgai Mandir, 134 Darshan at Kumudvan of Kumud Bihriji and Kapil Dev, 135 Darshan of Kumudkund, 136 Darshan of Kumudkund, 137 Chiranjan Temple of Lord Sri Chaitanya, 138. We got blessed by visiting the Chiranjan Temple of Lord Sri Chaitanya as well when he came to Kumudhavan. Chiranjan Temple of Lord Sri Chaitanya, 139 Chiranjan of Lord Sri Chaitanya, 140. After completing all the darshans of the day, we returned to Vrindavan and got evening darshans at Sri Sri Krishna Balarama Temple. Evening darshan at Sri Sri Krishna Balaram Temple, 141. Evening darshan at Sri Sri Krishna Balaram Temple, 142. Some Russia devotees were doing harinam around Sri Sri Krishna Balarama Temple with ecstatic curtains and dancing. Some of us participated in it as well. 143. Some devotees also went to Srila Prabhupada's museum and took darshan, which had various exhibitions. 144. Srila Prabhupada's Museum, 145. Srila Prabhupada's Museum, 146. 12. Vrahmandal Parikrama, Day 3 on 30th December 2019. After Mangal Aarti and morning darshan, we visited Badranath, Kedarnath, Gangotri, Yamunotri, Kamyavan, Govindadeva Temple, Vrindadevi Temple, Bojan Thali, Vyamasar Cave, Fizilasila, Balrama Footprint, Kameshwar Mahadev, 4 Yugas Shivji, Dharmakund, Vimalkund, Gayakund and Charan Pahari. We had a good climb of Badranath and Kedarnath, and the scenery from the top of the mountains were so beautiful. At Vrindadevi Temple, I just could not get my eyes off the deity as she was so beautiful. Due to the tracks not very good, we did not go to Vyamasar Cave but took darshan from Balaram Footprint Village. When Vyamasar and Krishna were fighting, the whole earth started to tremble. To stabilize the earth, Lord Balarama pushed her with his toe, and that footprint is seen on the rock. We had lunch at Gayakund, and also myself and Jagadishwar offered oblations to our ancestors. Nanda Maharaja also offered oblations to his forefathers here. We really enjoyed our time at Fizilasila, and all of us also played in the slide. It was great fun. We also made friends with the Vrajavasis living there. Lord Krishna and the cowherd boys also played sliding downhill here. Kamyavan is a very beautiful attraction in Vraja. It is the largest of all the forests. Lord Krishna had many wonderful pastimes here, as it is adorned with attractive ponds, wells, lakes, flowers, etc. Kamyavan is dedicated to Vrindadevi, who is an expansion of Srimati Radharani. Kameshwar Mahadeva is also situated here, which was installed by King Varanabh, the great-grandson of Lord Krishna. There is the beautiful Vrindadevi temple. At Charan Pahari, the footprints of Lord Krishna are found. Once Krishna and the cowherd boys were grazing cows and calves here and all got scattered, so Krishna closed his eyes and played on his flute in sweet melody to call them. The sheer 147 ecstasy of the flute music melted the stones, and thus impressions of his lotus feet were casted on the rocks. Morning Darshan at Sri Sri Krishna Balaram Temple 148 Morning Darshan at Sri Sri Krishna Balaram Temple Adi Badranath Darshan of Ganeshji and Naranarayan Mercy 149 at Adi Badranath Temple 150 Darshan of Sri Gangatriji and Sri Yamunatriji 151 Darshan of Neelkant Mahadeva 152 Darshan at Kamyavan where the three rivers flow during the rainy seasons. Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati 153 Darshan at Adi Kedarnath 154 Darshan at Charan Pahari Lotus Feet of Lord Sri Krishna 155 Playtime at Fizzalisilla and Photo with Vrajavasi Grandmother 156 Playtime at Fizzalisilla and Photo with Vrajavasi Grandmother 157 Bhojan Thali Mandir where the rocks melted into plates and cups. Krishna and Balarama used to eat here with the cowherd boys and have lots of fun. 158 Darshan of Vimalkund 159 Darshan at Kameshwar Mahadeva Temple 160 Darshan of the five Pandavas with Mata Kunti and Draupadi. Also Darshan of Vradev 161 Darshan of Sri Vrindadevi together with Sri Govindaji and Lord Jagannath 162-13. Brahmandal Parikrama. Day 4 after this, we returned back to Vrindavan and did the usual activities. Next day was New Year's Eve, that is 31st December 2019, and we went to Kadirvan, Barshana, Sangkarikor, Mataji Gashala, Morkutter, Man Mandir, Don Bihari, Kushal Bihari, Sriji Main Radharani Mandir, Pili Pakar, Prem Segarovar, Sakat, Nanjagan, Pawan Segarovar, Turkadam, Ashwar Mahadev, Nandbawan, Vrindakund, Kakilavan and Javat after taking part in Mangal Arti and having morning darshan. In Kadirvan, Lord Krishna and Lord Balarama used to come with the cowherd boys to herd their cows and perform playful pastimes. This is where Lord Krishna also killed the demon named Bakasura. In Barsana, Srimati Radharani enjoyed her transcendental youth pastimes along with her friends and her parents. Here in Barsana, during Holy Festival, the Gopas try to throw color on the Gopas and they chase them with lathi, wooden staff. Once my Guru Maharaja was also chased by the Vrajavasis staying here to throw colors on him. In Morkutter, Lord Krishna performed a peacock dance to please Radharani and broke her mood. The Man Mandir is just opposite of Morkutter. Don Bihari is the place where Lord Krishna demands milk and curd from Radharani and the Gopas by blocking their way through a narrow passage between two lanes and broke their pots when they did not provide. Radharani used to visit the Kushal Bihari with the friends to simply relax here. In Pili Pakar, there is a kund by the name Priya or Radhakund of the color yellow where Srimati Radharani washed her hands, which was coated with turmeric paste. Once, Krishna and Radharani were sitting together and a bee zoomed near Radharani menacingly. Krishna asked a Gopa friend to chase it away and the Gopa said Madhu is gone. Radharani thought he was referring to Krishna and not 163. Knowing he was still there, she started crying. Looking at Radharani, Krishna also started crying, and so the Prema Sarovar was formed with their tears. At Pawan Sarovar, anyone who takes a bath is relieved from all his sins, as Lord Krishna used to bring his cows here while returning from the pastures in the evening. The cows used to drink the cooling water to quench their thirst. In Turkadam, Radha and Krishna had many amazing exploits. Lord Krishna also used to climb and sit on the kadam trees while the cows grazed. When we came here, there were hundreds of devotees participating in the pravachan that was going on. In Javat village, Lord Balarama had his Raisa Lila sport with his Gopas. By the mercy of Radharani, I am trying my best to give a glimpse on the eternal pastimes that took place here in these holy places, however leaving at this so the devotees can feel the eagerness to visit and learn more or take to more readings. 164 Darshan of Prema Sarovara 165 New Year's Eve morning Darshan at Sri Sri Krishna Balaram Temple 166 at Mataji Gashala. We sponsored for Jaggery and all of us fed the cows with our hands. There are more than 50,000 cows living here and about 1,000 people employed to look after them. I really love the smell of cows as they give me transcendental bliss. We really enjoyed the beautiful weather of Vra as it was nice and cool. 167 Darshan at Sri Sri Radha Rasa Mandir, which had such beautiful deities. Darshan of Sri Radha Sarovar. This is where Srimati Radharani washed her hands. 168 Darshan of Pankatattva, Sri Gauranitai, Sri Radha Rasa Bihari and Sri Gopinath. 169 Darshan of Sri Radha Krishna, Lalita and Vishaka at Sri Ji Mandir in Barsana. 170 in Barsanajlan of Srimati Radharani in Barsana. 171 Darshan of Sri Kushal Bihari Ji, Sri Gopal Ji, Sri Hans Gopal Ji in Barsana. 172 Darshan of Moor Bihari Ji at Moorkutti in Barsana. 173 at Sangkari Kaur, where the gopis used to walk through this alley to serve Srimati Radharani in Barsana. 174 Darshan of Filikotiri Kund and Priyakund in Barsana. 175 in Sankatvan, in Parkya Bhava, the meeting place of Sri Krishna and Sri Radhika at Malanjula. Barsana. 176 Darshan of Krishna and Balaram at Turkadam. 177 Darshan of Vrinda Devi at Vrindakund. 178 Relishing sugarcane juice in Nangaon. After completing the day's parikrama, we returned back to Vrindavan and participated in the evening darshan and curtains at Sri Sri Krishna Balaram Temple for New Year's Eve celebration. 179-14 Brahmandal Parikrama, Day 5 on New Year's Day 1st January 2020 we went to Akruragat, Batrol, Gruda Govind, Chamuha, Charan Pahari Batain, Sheshashahi, Ramgat and Kadaji, Biharvan, Akshayavat, Shrgat Nangat and Tapovan. It was an ecstatic experience. After coming back to Vrindavan we went for the Goswami temple darshans, namely Sri Govinda, Gopinatha, Maidana Mohana, Radha Damodara, Sri Radha Ramana, Sri Radha Vinoda and Nidavan. Unfortunately, photos were not allowed at the Goswami temples. At Bank Bihari temple, there were thousands of pilgrims and no space to move. After darshan, when we came back to the main road, Maharani was missing. So Jyadeva and myself went looking for her but no sign. After 1 hour of search and helpless, we went back to MVT. Everyone had gone to their rooms but I stood waiting for her till she came after 30 minutes. Luckily, Nartaki and Gopal did not go with us as they both were sick. I also went to meet my sponsored child Divya at Sandipani Muni School, who happens to be from an underprivileged family as it was her birthday. Her father is a farmer and only earns US $85,000 a month and has 8 of them in the family, with Divya being the second youngest child. Also met with Divya's mother and Shyama Sharandasi, who is my contact person at FFLV. I am humbly requesting our readers to please, if possible, to help serve the Vrajavasis through Free Food of Life Vrindavan, FFLV, in Vraja. It was also Krishnil's birthday, so he arranged cake for us all from MVT restaurant during dinner. It is said that one has to remember the form of Krishna at the moment of leaving the body so can go back home, back to Godhead. Hence it is very important to know of the different pastimes of the Lord so that you can continuously meditate on it. 180 Just by looking at the deity in the temple is not sufficient, hence visiting the holy places of pastimes gives the picture of the form in the mind more life. Even the deities don't like standing in one place whole day. Just like Gauranitai came down from the altar and started dancing with the devotees at one time. Moving on, Akruragat is the place where Akrura took a bath and had darshan of Krishna and Balarama as Vishnu reclining on Ananta Shesha. This is also the place where the residents of Vrindavan saw the Vaikuntha planets in the water of the Yamuna. Batrol is the place where Krishna and Balarama were fed by the Brahmana's wife. They brought various deliciously cooked grains and other foodstuffs. Gruda Govind is one of the oldest temples of Vraja. This is where Lord Krishna's Chatti Puja, 6th day after birth, took place when he was an infant, and also he played with his Gopa friends here and one of them pretended to be Gruda. Brahma Vimohan Leela took place in Chamuha where he stole Krishna's calves and cowherds. Lord Krishna expanded into the same number of calves and cowherds and life remained undisturbed in Vraja for 1 year till Brahman realized his mistake and did penance at this place. Charan Pahari Batain, there are imprints of Krishna's feet and some cows' feet on the rocks here. There is a famous deity of Lord Sheshashahi Vishnu that is said to have been originally established by Varanabha Mahara, Krishna's great-grandson, almost 5,000 years ago. When Lord Chaitanya came here and saw the deity, he could not contain himself and became overwhelmed with ecstatic love. Shragat is one of the holy ghats on the banks of the river Yamuna. This is the place where the famous pastimes of Krishna stealing the clothes of the young gopis of Vrindavan took place. Tapovan is the forest where the young gopi girls of Vrindavan performed austerities to get Lord Krishna as their husband. In that small, but idyllic set of woods, they ate simply for 1 month, bathed daily in the cold waters of the 181 Yamuna and prayed continuously to the goddess Katyani. At the end of the month, they went to Chirgat where Krishna fulfilled their deep spiritual desires. Darshan of Lord Brahma and Brahma Kund at Jamuha 182 Darshan of Sri Daji 183 Darshan at Sri Nikund Bihrin Mandir 184 Darshan at Bihar Kund 185 Darshan at Akshavat of Sri Sri Sita Rama and Lakshman 186 Darshan of Kadam Vriksha where Lord Krishna stole the Gopis clothes 187 Darshan of Chirgat and the bank of the Yamuna River Darshan at Sri Sri Radha Damodar Temple. Though photos are not allowed, Jyadeva managed to get a click 188 Darshan at Sri Sri Radha Govinda Temple. Original Govindaji was reinstated in Hyper during the Muslim attacks by Aurangzeb. The deities on the altar in this temple are Govindaji in the middle and to his left is Lord Chaitanya and to his right is Lord Nityananda, whereas below are small deities of Radha and Krishna. 189 Darshan at Sri Sri Radha Shyama Sundarji 190 Darshan of Nidavan. One of the most famous spots and intriguing draws of the town is Nidavan, a small shrubby place where Lord Krishna performed the rasa dance with the gopis. When you give donations here, in return the pujaris give cinder and bangles from Radharani as a blessing. Since Nartaki did not come due to being sick, I gave donations and got the cinder and bangles for her. 191 Meeting with Divya, her mother and Shyama Sharan at Sandipani Muni School 192-15. Vrahmandal Parikrama, Day 6. Next day on 2nd January 2020 we visited Bhadravan, Bandirvan, Vansavat, Belvan, Mansarovar, Gokul, Chintahran Mahadev, Brahmangat, Akhil Bandan, Chaurasi Kamdha, Raymon Reddy, Mahavan, Raval and Lohavan. At Raval, we got such beautiful darshan of Sri Radhika in her infant form which is her birth PEAC. When Radharani was born she did not open her eyes nor made any sound. Sri Narada Muni came to Raval to have the pious darshan of her, the perfect manifestation of love and devotion. On Narada Muni's advice Sri Vrishabhanu organized a grand ceremony when Lord Krishna also came. Krishna crawled to the cradle of Srimati Radharani and put his lotus face before her. Noticing the face of her beloved, Radharani opened her eyes. At Raymon Reddy, I told everyone that they should roll on the ground as Krishna used to play there with the gopas and so they all did and took the dust on their bodies. There was also an elephant performing arti outside the temple in Raymon Reddy. In Bhadravan, Lord Krishna and Balarama used to herd their cows whereas in Bandirvan, Lord Krishna killed the demon named Pralambdhasura, who tried to kidnap some of Krishna's friends. It was here also the marriage ceremony of Krishna and Radha was performed by Brahma as priest. During Krishna's manifest pastimes, there was an abundance of bel trees in Belvan from which the name came. While grazing the cows in the most captivating and pleasant forest, Lord Krishna and his sakhas would play different kinds of sports and relish the ripe bel fruits. Mansarovar possesses the power to enhance people a feeling of enlightenment. Legend hides the beauty of this place, as Sri Radha had once got annoyed from Sri Krishna and came to this place. It was here where Sri Krishna had pleased her. 193 Chintahran Mahadev is the place where Mother Yashoda went after she saw the entire universe in the small mouth of her dear son Krishna and became too worried. She was asked to visit the saint living on the bank of river Yamuna. The saint was none other than Lord Shiva, who was denied darshan of Krishna at one time and so came here to meditate. Lord Shiva then told Mother Yashoda that her son was the supreme personality of Godhead and all her worries then went away. Brahmangat is the place where Lord Krishna performed the pastime of showing the whole universe inside his mouth to Mother Yashoda as above described. Akhil Bandan is the place where the Lord Krishna performed his pastimes of Damodara, where Lord Krishna was tied by Mother Yashoda and where Manigriva and Nilakuvara were liberated from the curse of Narada Muni. The Chaurasi Kamdha was the abode of the Pandavas during their 14 years exile. The debate between Yaksha and Yudhishthira occurred when they were staying here at a nearby pond named Dharam. Lord Krishna spent his childhood in Mahavan which was found by Nanda Mahara before Krishna's birth and was ruled by the Yadavas and finally the forest of Lohavan which is decorated with all varieties of trees and flowers and is one of the places where Krishna pastures his cows. Lord Krishna killed the demon named Loyanghasur here while grazing cows. Thereafter, we returned back to Vrindavan. Upon returning, we all went for a boat ride in the Yamuna. It was awesome. I allowed rest of the day to them for shopping, as the next day we were leaving for Delhi and then back to Fiji Islands after staying there for a night. In Vrindavan, we also took turns to visit Srila Prabhupada's quarters and saw all his paraphernalia nicely kept and his room well maintained. There were many devotees sitting and silently chanting. 194 I also had an appointment with my Ayurvedic doctor, Dr. Manal, for my medical review, and he also saw Maharani for her health issues. He visited us at MVT and saw my wife as well since she had been sick. Srila Prabhupada Guru Puja at Sri Sri Krishna Balaram Temple. 195 Morning Darshan at Sri Sri Krishna Balaram Temple, Vrindavan. 196 Beautiful sunrise in Vrindavan, glimpse from MVT. 197 Darshan at Sri Ladli Radharani birthplace in Raval. 198 Darshan of Sri Radhika in her childhood form, crawling in Raval. Also is darshan of two trees on the rooftop of the temple which represents Sri Krishna and Sri Radharani, since one tree is black and the other is golden. 199 Darshan of Nand Mahara in Chaurasi Kam. This is where Lord Krishna performed most of his childhood pastimes, most prominently the Damodar Leela. 200 at Brahman Ghat. 201 at Sri Daji and Revatiji Mandir. 202 Darshan of Lord Brahma at Brahman Bihari Mandir. 203 Darshan of Sri Krishna and Balaram in Raman Riddhi, elephant offering prayers at Raman Riddhi. 204 Boat ride in the Yamuna and heard stories from the boatman of how Yamuna is an eternal consort of Krishna. 205 Srila Prabhupada's belongings in his room at Sri Krishna Balarama Temple. 206 Srila Prabhupada's bed in his room at Sri Krishna Balarama Temple. 207 Miscellaneous items belonging to Srila Prabhupada, very neatly kept in his room at Sri Krishna Balarama Temple. 208 Miscellaneous items belonging to Srila Prabhupada, very neatly kept in his room at Sri Krishna Balarama Temple. 209 Miscellaneous items belonging to Srila Prabhupada, very neatly kept in his room at Sri Krishna Balarama Temple. 210 Miscellaneous items belonging to Srila Prabhupada, very neatly kept in his room at Sri Krishna Balarama Temple. After the day well spent and being our last day in Vrindavan, we all went for final shopping at the world-famous Loy Bazaar. I took them to my favorite shops, namely Vrinda, Anuradha, Gangadri, etc. Jagadiswar also got his eyeglasses made in Loy Bazaar. I made arrangements for the travelers bus to be at MVT on time so we could spend some valuable time in Delhi as well, plus we all exchanged our currency as well. 211-16. Delhi next day 3rd January 2020. After attending Mangal Aarti and final darshan of their lordships, we headed for Delhi. Jayadeva was also fortunate enough to meet and take photo with His Holiness Srila Lokanath Swami Maharaja, who was also visiting Vrindavan. I did my usual prayers to Sri Sri Gauranitai, Sri Sri Krishna Balarama and Sri Sri Radha Shyama Sundar, and at Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi Mandir with the desire of returning again in a year's time to get the divine darshan, but who knew fate has something else in store for everyone in the world due to coronavirus. Everyone had tears in their eyes as it was very painful for us to leave Vrindavan, but we did not have a choice. Myself and Gopal went to give some donation to a Babaji who always sat outside Sri Krishna Balarama Temple opposite Srila Prabhupada's room, and to get his blessings. Finally, we gathered outside MVT after checking out the transport came, and off we went to Delhi, our final stop while still in India, to get the divine darshan of Sri Sri Radha Parthasarthi. 212 Final darshan of Sri Sri Gauranitai, Sri Sri Krishna Balarama and Sri Sri Radha Shyama Sundar at Sri Krishna Balarama Temple in Vrindavan. 213 We arrived in Delhi at around 3:00 p.m. and went straight to our hotel, which was 10 minutes walk from the temple. The hotel name was Fab Hotel Kazi Plaza. We offloaded our things and checked in. We were going to spend one night in Delhi, as the next night was our flight back to Fiji. After settling in, we went straight to Sri Sri Radha Parthasarthi Temple for darshan and dinner. I had been here last in 2007, so nothing much was changed since then. After darshan we went for dinner at the restaurant, but they had buffet which was in 500 per person and seemed too much to me, so we just took takeaways from the restaurant upstairs. Unfortunately, there was no place to sit and eat, so we just kept standing and had our dinner and also got some takeaways for breakfast the next day. We saw the Bhagavad Gita, which has the certificate from World Book of Records for being the largest book. 214 Shri Shri Radha Partha Sarthi, Shri Shri Gauranitai and Shri Shri Sita, Rama, Lakshman and Hanuman at Partha Sarthi Temple in Delhi. 215 The next morning 048 January 2020. We visited the temple again after breakfast and toured the campus, took photos, visited the Vedic exhibition and also had lunch at the Govinda's restaurant as there was no buffet today and the meals were at reasonable price as we had in other places. After lunch, myself, Gopal and Jagadiswar came back to the hotel to take rest and prepare for the flight as it was late at night and we were exhausted from all the travels while the others went shopping at one of the prominent bazaars nearby in Delhi. However, they were told to be careful and not to go too far as there were riots going on in some places. Shri Shri Radha Partha Sarthi Temple, Delhi. 216 Vedic exhibition. Very huge dioramas of Lord Brahma and Lord Lakshmi Narayan. Lakshmi Narayan looked so real. 217 Various photos from inside the temple hall. 218 Lunch at Govinda's restaurant and more photos outside the temple entrance. 219 Final darshan at Shri Shri Radha Partha Sarthi Temple in Delhi. 220 We left the hotel at 7:00 p.m. since our flight was at 11:00 p.m. from Delhi to Hong Kong. We checked in and took to our flight. Everyone was quiet due to feelings of separation from the holy Dham. In Hong Kong, Jagadiswar was randomly checked by airport officials as by then the virus had already started in China but they were not sure of the cause as it was the early stages. He was asked to take medication from the chemist and wear a face mask at the airport and all the way to Fiji due to having a fever. We arrived in Fiji at the Nadi International Airport on 6 January 2020 at 8:10 am, went through customs and out of the airport with little goodbyes and headed back to our homes. Some of us had problems at the Fiji customs as we were checked for our luggage. Maharani and myself had cow urine in our bags which the airport customs did not allow to take. I thought I should not have declared as they would not have known since the labeling was in Hindi. Maybe better luck next time. 221-17. Future tours. Once the coronavirus is over, I intend to take more tours of devotees willing to visit India and taste the nectar we had tasted and experience the blissful life of the holy Dham. A stay for a day in a holy place is more important and precious than staying a lifetime in any other place in the world. Just to outline, we desire to visit the following holy places in the near future and I also have a desire to do 108 parikramas of my favorite Govardhan in this very lifetime. Places to visit in the near future. ISKCON Mumbai Govardhan Eco Village Mupur Ujjain Tirupati Ahabilam Jagannath Puri Ramuna Vishakhapatnam Ayodhya Kurukshetra ISKCON Delhi Vrindavan Hrishikesha Haridwar Hyper. Though all the places may not be practical to be visited in a 2 weeks tour, however, we can over multiple of tours and if Krishna willing then we could go for a few months tour as well. 220-18. Conclusion. Many people condemned that 2 weeks will not be sufficient for a tour to India and visiting so many places as discussed in this book will not be practical. They also said it will not be fruitful as we will not get enough time and space to hear about the different pastimes and get proper darshans. However, by the grace of Lord Gauranga, a 2 weeks journey to the glorious India has manifested into such a wonderful book subsisting of 236 pages which is just a drop of the nectar and a brief summary as our experiences were much more than explained in this book. Such is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. I felt great ecstasy and enthusiasm while doing this book and now realized how Srila Prabhupada and other devotees may have been feeling while writing so many volumes of books on the subject of Krishna consciousness and glorifying the holy Dham which is beyond explanation. My contribution is nothing compared to the others as my knowledge and experience is limited, though tried my utmost best to share whatever I could absorb in the 2 weeks of the journey as even Ananta Shesha is unable to fully glorify the holy Dham and pastimes of Lord Krishna. Hope my attempt is successful in making the readers to see the nectar of visiting India through this book and a desire being born within the core of their hearts to make a pledge to visit the holy Dham someday or join me in one of my tours. I have just gloried the pastimes in a minute way and given a glimpse of the holy Dham in order to plant the Bhakti Lata Bija that is the seed of devotional service in the hearts of the reader so they can sow and water this seed in their hearts to sprout. Being afraid of my book becoming too voluminous, I have left some places without vivid descriptions to awaken the desire in the heart of the reader to find out more about the places and pastimes themselves. 223 readers may have noticed that I have added Sri Radhakund watermark on every page of this book so that it could continuously remind me of its exalted position, as Radhakund is the topmost of the holiest of places in this world and my favorite. I pray to Sri Radhakund to please be merciful on this fallen soul and engage me in Lord Krishna's service for eternity. I also pray to the readers and all the Vaishnavas for their blessings so that I can one day reside eternally in my most beloved Govardhan and get daily darshans of Sri Radhakund, Sri Shyamakund, and be able to complete my vow of doing 108 parikramas of Govardhan in this very lifetime. Tat Sat. 224 memorable moments of Nartaki, 225 memorable moments of Gopal, 226-19. Realizations by Jayadeva Goswami Das. On the final day of our stay in Vrindavan, the mellow and soothing afternoon breeze on the banks of river Yamuna among loud echoing speakers and distant sounds with the backdrop of the sunset, I realized how fortunate people are to be in the midst of the holy Dhams. Our journey was finally coming to an end, but the idea of always returning back to Dham will never fade away. India, to describe it in a single word will be unjust. Various places, many faces, the melting pot of religious diversity, and in the heart of it all are the holy Dhams. Mupur, the birthplace of Sankirtana, through the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, is in fact only getting better, and in time, it will be the epicenter of Sankirtana. The amazing vision of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur and the courageous steps taken by Srila Prabhupada in making Mupur a future city is indeed a blessing. The prominent aspect of Krishna consciousness is to always be engaged in the service of the Lord, and this was very strongly visible among devotees and non-devotees alike. The real thirst of devotion, darshan and association truly exist only in Dhams. Standing at the edge of the terrace at Barsana, the palace of Srimati Radharani, a magnificent view awaits overlooking the mesmerizing landscape of Barsana city. Vrindavan in itself is breathtaking, through the beauty of its forests, its many temples, the winding alleyways, the banks of river Yamuna, a serene and ever so youthful presence like the Supreme Lord. A devotee should always reside in the transcendental realm of Vra and always engage in Kayasmaranjana Sisaya, the remembrance of RK and his beloved associates. By following in the footsteps of such associates in 227, by entering under their eternal guidance, one can acquire an intense desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhakti Rasamta Sindhu, 1.2. 294. Although one lifetime is not enough, still may we someday again go back the holy realm of the Lord and experience the nectar. May the divine couple bestow their mercy upon us. May we one day become Bravasis. All glories to Jagat Guru, Srila Prabhupada. Memorable moment of Jayadeva 228-20. Realizations by Maharani Devi Dasi. Before sharing my consciousness about 2019 Dham Yatra, I would like to thank my beloved spiritual master, His Holiness Srila Bhur Krishna Das Goswami Maharaja, for his blessing, His Divine Grace Srila C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada for his guidance towards this beautiful nirvana which we refer as Dham Yatra, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, my Krishna Kanhaya and Radharani, whose love cord kept pulling me towards Dham, and not forgetting Nityananda Das Prabhu for making this yatra easy as possible, successful and memorable for a lifetime. During my childhood, I used to hear a lot of stories about Lord Sri Krishna Srimati Radharani which always got stuck in my heart-mind, be it my grandma narrating or during the festival celebrations in community temple or school. As I grew, I had an opportunity to dance in Krishna songs and do drama in Krishna Leelas in school, which doubled my love for Radha Krishna. I used to wonder how beautiful Vrindavan, Dwarka, Mathura, Barsana would be. I always wished if I could visit once before I leave this earth. When I got connected to the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, SUVA, in 2016, I was speechless by seeing the beauty of the deities. It was like a treasure box opened and all the treasure was shining in front of me and my greedy eyes was gathering it. Seeing my reactions, one of my temple friends, whom I used to go to temple with, showed me the deities of Mupur Temple, Vrindavan Temple, Lord Jagannath deities. The rate of my heartbeat was very high every time I see it, and the rhythm of the beat would be, when will I see it with my own eyes? Every time anybody would show me pictures or share their Dham Yatra experience or reading the books, my heart beats the same rhythm. When will I see it? My eyes become thirsty as if it's been in desert, desiring for a drop of nectar of Dham, and my mind gets so hungry to get food for Dham memories. 229 One day Nartaki Mataji Nityananda Prabhu said, Maharani, we are planning to go to Mupur Vrindavan. You always wanted to feel how being in Dham is. Let's not miss this opportunity. I felt like Srimati Radharani heard my prayers, and without losing a second I said yes, as I didn't want to miss this opportunity. I didn't know how to manage the travel cost while having so much on my plate, but Lord Shri Krishna arranged everything smoothly. Everything was being arranged as if the doors of heaven was opening for me. I was super excited when I finally managed to pay everything and prepare for the yatras. It was a great icing on the cake when in last minute Nityananda Prabhu managed to add Bhubaneswar, Odisha in the plan. With Lord Shri Krishna's great blessings and Srimati Radharani's miracle breakthrough, every obstacle was turned into a pathway towards Dham Yatra. Few months of waiting and preparing the things to take with me made me so excited. Our gatherings with Nartaki Mataji made me so impatient to fly to Dham. She used to tell us stories about her experience when she first went to Dham. With a blink of an eye, the date was 21st December 2019, 6:00 am at Nadi International Airport. Yes, my lord, I am coming to realize and feel how wonderful that soil is where you played with your barefoot. Divya, I had no limits to happiness, a heart full of happiness never like before. We settled in our seats in the plane. We prayed to Lord Narsingha while holding back our tears of excitement. We did our rounds, watched the movies and relaxed. We barely could sleep but was lying down as the flight was long and sitting was hard. After the long flying, change of 2 flights and bit of foggy sleepy drive, we managed to put our foot in the holy land of India, Sri Dham Mupur. Early cold morning, all foggy roads. It was like a dream come true. We were waiting for the fogs to clear and the door to heaven opens up just exactly like it happens in movies. I was so passionate about everything around us because I could feel the presence of positive energy. First time feeling everything so pure. 230 Each and every place we visited at Sri Dham Mupur was a soul awakening experience. Every morning we used to wake up and be ready for Mangal Aarti no matter how cold it was at 3:00 am. Normally when I wake up early to have shower, I have a very bad sinus, but in Dham, despite cold as 7 degrees, I didn't have any sinus issue or fever at any point in time. This was a real blessing. Super fervent to be standing in front of the deities of Mupur temple. The hairs of my hands would stand to end and heart would have its own rate every time I came in front of the deities. I felt like the Pankatattva deities are going to walk towards me. The presence was really felt to my heart. With the crowd we used to walk around towards Sri Sri Radha Madhava Ashtasakhi deities. It was so beautiful, they were smiling and standing as if they were going to start the Rasa dance. This was one of the treasured days of my life. Seeing Lord Narsingha Dev made me feel like there is nothing in the world I could fear about, as he is always with me. I was holding back my tears seeing each and every darshans because one of my friends had told me we shouldn't cry in front of the deities. Being in Mupur every day was exciting. We went to each place as stated in this book and was very attractive. I felt the presence of purity as something was present which had unique sensation. We visited the temple of the Vedic planetarium, which was an amazing sight. I wonder how beautiful this would be once the project is completed. The Ekachakra Dam felt like a smooth flowing ocean of pure love, humbleness, gentleness. We shall keep flowing and flowing with it towards pure bhakti. The Ekachakra Dam was very beautiful. By the time we reached for Ganga Snan in Mupur, it was dark after 6 or 7 p.m. This really felt like a test for me as it was very cold. The water was so cold I did not know if I could do it, but we prayed and we all were able to do it. We held each other's hands and managed to take the very cold Snan. I was scared of falling sick, but with mercy of Lord we were all in good condition as I felt my sinus problem was already gone, and this became a finest memory of cleansing myself. I also met a very humble Prabhuji. I couldn't dare to ask his name as he was very 231 senior in all aspects and age, but he told me he was originally from Italy and now he is in Mupur distributing books. I used to greet him every time I went to the temple. I felt he was unique in the crowd. He told me about the places, how much he loves being in Mupur, and he gave me a book about Mupur. The most heartfelt memory about him was he arranged Lord Narsingha Pavitra for me on the very last morning we were leaving Mupur. Though the sizes of Pavitra was too big for me, but I had taken 2 out of 4 he got for me, as I believed it was Lord's way of saying I am with you, and I thought to share second one with my friend who showed me ways to Krishna consciousness. I had acquired a lot of virtue and knowledge by being in Mupur. Now going to the next holiest place, Sri Jagannath Puri Dham. I feel like I was one of those very luckiest persons in that very huge crowd to take darshan of Lord Jagannatha, Baladeva Subhadra Devi. Flowing with such a large crowd, bumped from all sides, we managed to jump and jumped high as possible to get the darshan. This was a very unique experience for me. As all we know, the flag in the temple has the most auspicious signs, which is changed every single day, so we managed to get each for ourselves, and I was so happy having the flag dated for the day I visited. We had amazingly beautiful darshans of Sakshi Gopal. While listening to the Brahmachari narrating the kathas about the temples, we had honored prasadam at the same premises. I enjoyed prasadam, which was uniquely made from rice bubble. It was sweet and gave a very sweet memory for lifetime. The most heart-touching darshan I saw for the first time was the darshan of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sitting and a very bright diya lit in front of him. This vision took my heart away as I got frozen for a minute. His mridanga was still there too. My eyes were purified and mind was cleansed after every darshan I saw. The most awaited and dream come true moment of my life, being in Vrindavan. As I reached Vrindavan, I was just thanking Srimati Radharani for allowing me to be here. It was only possible with her mercy upon this fallen soul. I didn't know 232 what to do. Jump up high with great happiness or cry out loud with heartfelt gratitude for being in Vrindavan Dham. We were in Vrindavan for 6 days and visited many places as stated in this book, and each place had its own tasteful nectar. The slow soothing winds in Vrindavan felt as if it was being blown out of Lord Sri Krishna's own flute, and we were bathing in it to get ourselves cleansed in that soothing wind. I fell in love with everything my eyes could see, my heart could feel, my hands could touch, and all of that which my mind could store about Brahmandal Parikrama for the whole 6 days. For the first time in my life, I had known what falling in love with most beautiful thing in this whole world is like. I felt I had pleasure of the whole world. Temperatures in Vrindavan was very low, sometimes low as 3 degrees, but this never stopped us from getting up at 3 am to go for Mangal Aarti. Vrindavan Dham has its own beauty. If our eye of the heart is wide open, we can feel. My heart skipped a beat when we visited most holy places in Vrindavan as mentioned in itinerary. I am now out of words to describe the feeling. While doing Govardhan Parikrama, I had tears of love joy then and even right now as I'm writing this. We were barefoot, very cold day, I think low as 3 degrees, and distance was very long. While doing the Parikrama Divya, I got lost from our group. We were slow, our legs were swollen, but what guided us was Radha on each wall, every tree along the marg, until we found the sign along the roads for Parikrama Marg. This was again a wonderful memory for lifetime as we both enjoyed each second of the Parikrama at our speed. At the end, all the 3 groups met at the Radhakund Shyam Kund. After completing the Govardhan Parikrama, we couldn't hold back our tears, a deep awakening of our soul and deep purifications of our heart. We had created memory everywhere we visited in Vrindavan, for e.g. eating dahi, yogurt, jalebi, sweet, at the banks of Yamuna. We visited places where Lord Sri Krishna Radharani had performed our favorite leelas like Kund Bihari, birthplace of Lord Sri Krishna, Mahavan, 233 more Cutter, Nangaon, Damodar Leela place, and many more. Each and every place we visited was a very beautiful, soul-touching and pleasurable memory. I feel the Vrajavasis were so caring and loving, reason being, I saw them putting clothes on the cows, calf, also the tulasi plants. Despite visiting many places, we still have many more dams to take darshan of to purify ourselves. I really pray to visit again with mercy of Srimati Radharani, as I still haven't got enough of the Vrindavan Dham. A pilgrimage is a journey in search of the divine inside and outside us. It occurs in one's mind and consciousness as described in blog by a Maharaja. It is a deep purification of the heart, of the intellect, of the memory and us as a whole. I can keep writing explaining my feelings and memory about each place we visited, but I get out of word to describe the exact emotions. Heart gets frozen and I hold my tears back as I'm writing this. It still feels like it was yesterday. Everything was like a journey between the earth and the sky. I still remember I was crying on the last day in Vrindavan at Mangal Aarti and final darshan as my heart was sinking as it was time to return back, and I was praying I won't come again. Not making this longer anymore, I would like to say, I wish to go for Dham Yatras again and again and again. Memorable moments of Maharani 234-21. Realizations by Divya Devi Dasi. As a child, my parents used to read bedtime stories about the incarnation of the Lord and his pastimes to me. Most of the time the favorite stories used to be about Prahalad Mahara and Dhruv Mahara and how the Supreme Lord would always take care for his devotees. However, the best story was about Govardhan. As I grew older, I always wanted to visit Govardhan. My desire was fulfilled when I was asked to join for the Gopal's India Tour 2019 together with other devotee friends. After taking permission from my dear Guru Deva, we made our trip to the Holy Land of India. We reached Sridhamapur on Ekadasi. It was the first time for me to experience such cold temperature. In spite of that, we rushed out just to pay our obeisance to the holy Dham. After deluging, we all went to have our first darshan. I remember watching the video of Sridham and was eagerly waiting just to gaze upon the beautiful and graceful Pankatattva. When I entered the spacious temple, I saw the huge golden Pankatattva deities. I couldn't imagine ever having to leave Mupur. The devotees' graceful dancing and the beautiful curtain enchanted me. When I looked to the right, I was stunned on seeing the huge and extremely beautiful deities of Radha Madhava, with 4 Sakhis on each side gazing at the perfect beauty of Lord Madhava and Srimati Radharani and very eager to serve them. The temple was full of devotees. The pujaris were offering ghee lamps, an act that symbolizes how our heart burns in separation from Krishna. And before I could recover, I was in front of the deity of Nrisimhadeva. Dressed in silver and gold, he looked like fire. He was so ferocious and yet so assuring. I don't remember how many times I offered obeisances to him. 235 every morning, despite of the cold weather, we attended the Mangala Aarti and every day we tried to make our way through the crowd just to be in front. Most of the day we succeeded and other times we were chased by the security guards since they were working very hard to manage the crowd of devotees. Everyone had the same desire, to see the Lordship closely, because one never knows when would be the next time to visit Mupur. From Mupur, we went to Jagannath Dham, which is one of the prominent Char Dham pilgrimage sites. Seeing the chakra from the distance, we all paid obeisance. Whether it be Sakshi Gopal Temple or the Jagannath Puri Temple, it was swarming by soul-searching devotees from so many places with one resolution, just to get a glimpse of the Absolute. Though I got to see the majestic Lord in a flash, I was shivering with excitement afterwards. There were some places that left prints in my heart just like a tattoo. Firstly, Vrindavan, whose glories can't be described by top exalted saints, leave apart me. It was pouring ecstasy in Vrindavan. Every gust of wind, the surrounding Radha written on trees and every walls, monkeys and Vrajavasis, everything here has love of Srimati Radharani and Sri Shyam Sundar. Every activity done here or every sight would bring an individual nearer to the everlasting individual relationship with the divine couple. My innermost desire was fulfilled when we went to circumambulate the great Govardhan in 20 Celsius. It was and it will remain the most precious day of my life. This was because on Govardhan, interesting lilas were performed by Lord Krishna in his childhood and youth, and also the presence of Sri Radhakund, which is the most holy place on earth. Despite of the cold and weary, we managed to finish our parikrama in approximately 6 hours. This was only possible through loudly, greedily, and 236 desperately chanting the names of Lord on every step taken. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. The holy name has got so much power that it provided us with the strength to do Vrindavan parikrama as well as Govardhan parikrama in a single day. There were so many places that we went to visit during our visit. And even today, the forested area of Nityananda, amongst all other forests, carried the essence of this sacred name in its lush green foliage. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. Even though you were satisfied with whatever Krishna provided to you, you undertook great hardships to create such a beautiful place and a real society of devotees so that people like me would be attracted to spiritual life. Back in Fiji, I realized that Mupur and Vrindavan is an example of how one can live a completely spiritual life right here in the material world. Oh Lord, I prayed, when can I return to Mupur? When can I return to Vrindavan? Memorable moment of Divya 237. Thank you for an incredible journey, a memorable experience, and outstanding travels across 3 dams. Sri Mupur Dham, Sri Jagannath Puri Dham and Sri Vrindavan Dham. Journey made possible by Nityananda Das. Journey with immense blessing from Srimati Radharani and divine mercy of Lord Sri Krishna. Till we travel again, joy. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Appreciation by Jyadeva Goswami Das. A journey to the holy Dham. Nityananda Das. 1 dedication. I would like to dedicate this book to his divine